Hey everyone, today is Friday the 2nd of November 2018. This is GAP episode 443. I'm Lawrie. Joab Gilroy's here.
I am.
Joab, it's November.
It is November.
That's fucking crazy.
No, you know what's crazy is last week we recorded on your fucking birthday or some shit, or the day before or whatever, and you didn't mention anything. And I'm just supposed to remember these things, remember when your birthday is, and I didn't wish you a happy birthday, but a happy birthday.
Thank you. I forgot.
You forgot.
I didn't realize until that night. Yeah. It was one of those weeks I was just so busy that
Yeah,
I just didn't know what day it was.
well, it makes me feel better about forgetting as well. Then I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So last week was, well, the last 2 weeks was like the Red Dead Redemption death week, and then following that up with PAX. So yeah, it was like 2 weeks of just crazy.
I got you a present, but then I didn't go to PAX, so I couldn't give it to you.
Fair enough. Was it some beer?
No, it wasn't beer. It's something. You'll get it whenever
Surprise.
each other,
Cool.
I suppose. Yeah. Well, it's a fucking birthday present, dickhead. Of course, it's a surprise.
Yeah.
That's how that works. Yeah. Anyway, so you went to PAX, obviously, and I stayed at home and played Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah. Nice.
Which of us made the better decision?
Well, I was already at the point where I just about was done with it. So
But imagine you hadn't. Imagine you weren't.
I had a good PAX.
Right.
I thought it was good. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
So
Tell
I
us more.
actually got home and I got sick on a Tuesday night. So I feel like I was nearly, like, I was safe, and then all of a sudden I was like, just kidding, fuck you. Tuesday night, like the throat was like starting to go, and it's only been one of those sort of 24-hour things where on sort of Wednesday I was like, oh man, yeah, I'm pretty sick, and then Thursday I was starting to feel a bit better by the night, and like I'm fine today. I'm just a bit like my voice is still a bit fucked up and whatnot. But yeah, no, I'm cool. Anyway, PAX's last started on Friday. Well, technically there was stuff on Thursday night. Bethesda did a Fallout 76 Reclamation Day party. Had like a bunch of people show up, including some of the talent they had there, like Tim Willits, Pete Hines, Rob Whittaker was there again.
Your good friend,
my good mate. He was sitting at the
UFC
table.
middleweight champion of the world. You had like, how the fuck? If I was the UFC anything champion, I would demand people refer to me as, that would be my title. It would be not Mr. Gilroy. It would be UFC, probably heavyweight champion. And I wouldn't be, obviously, I'm not saying that I could be the champion, but if I were to be in a weight class, I'd be in heavyweight, because like Mark Hunt, there's no way I'm fucking cutting. Fuck that bullshit. I'll just deal with shit. And then, it'll be UFC heavyweight champion Joab Gilroy. That's how I would want to be referred to. That's how you should refer to your good friend Bobby Whittaker.
Bobby, yeah, I got in there and I grabbed a drink and I was talking to someone, I can't remember who, and he fucking come up behind me and gave me a hug, and I'm like, oh, who's that? And I turn around and he's like, how's it going, mate? And I was like, oh shit, what's going on? So we were talking a bit, not a lot though, because there was just tons of people around, and he just wanted to sort of mingle and whatnot. But I saw him around like during the weekend, and he was, even before that, he was pretty excited about being there. Like it was the first time he'd been to like a big gaming convention like this, and he was just super stoked to have a break again and just fuck around. And I saw him just doing, like, he was on the trivia panel at one stage. Saw him like roaming the floor, doing like a bunch of interviews. I saw him do like, I watched a couple of them, like some mainstream interviews that he did, and he was pretty reined in. Like,
oh really?
Like, as opposed to like talking to him in general, just like shooting the shit.
Yeah,
but he knows when he's working. Like, he knows when he's supposed to be saying the right thing.
I feel like they've all got a bit of, that sort of media training, right?
Yeah, I mean, there are people out there that know how to do it, and there's others that just don't give a shit.
Well, like, if you look at, speaking of Mark Hunt, right? To go back to the Mark Hunt example, you look at him doing interviews, and he just gives like 2-word answers. It's just like, Joe Rogan will be like, oh yeah, that was a really tough fight. You did really well. Did you think you were, he rocked you at one point in the second round. Did you think he was going to finish you? And Mark Hunt will be like, yeah. and that's it. And then
That's all he
like
gets.
Joe will be like, okay, because if he talks normally,
Yeah.
Mark Hunt is the loosest kind of alive. He will just
Yeah.
fucking light up people. So yeah, I think that they must all have different strategies. Mark Hunt's strategy is to just not talk at all.
Sure.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess Bobby must be a little more media trained.
Yeah, from what I understand, or from what he was saying, he's not like a big talker in the ring, or so the octagon, and or
Yeah.
even just like trash talking. It's just not his style, but he
Right.
trash talks quite a lot in video games, from what he was telling me.
Right.
So, and he seems to be pretty well media trained. Like he seems to be a good interview. But yeah, I saw him a bunch on the weekend. He looked like he was having a lot of fun. So yeah, that was the sort of Fallout party. That was sort of kicking off Thursday night.
The most fun anyone will have with Fallout.
this week at least, this last week, which we'll get to a bit later, and
Sure.
and then yeah, so Friday PAX kicked off. I didn't go super hard that Thursday night. Like I was up for the the 9 o'clock like media / early access entrance. So they give you like an hour beforehand to sort of get in there and look at stuff.
Play Sekiro.
Yeah, which is what we went and had a look at. And so yeah, I jumped in there and went over. Sekiro was playable, but I don't know, man. I was like, Kleb was with us that stage, and I watched him play Sekiro.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd rather have that game kick my ass the first time and not like on a show floor. I want to experience it because from what I understand, it's like it just chucks you into it like a boss fight, and it's like fucking go, and it's quite hard. So I just want to stay away from that and get it. Like I want to be fresh when it sort of gets in my hands next year and just play it from there and kind of experience it first time. So I didn't play that, but I went over and played Ori, the new Ori game.
Oh yeah,
and that seems pretty cool. Like a lot of different types of mechanics in there that I don't really remember from the last game. But yeah, man, that seems like a really good solid game. I had a lot of fun with that last one. It was not an easy game. It had some difficult like platforming moments and puzzle elements in there, and also just sort of like attacking the enemies you face up against. So I think that one's going to be a really good one, and I'm keen to definitely play a lot more of that. It was doing things like you were sort of had this like swinging ability, and then you would get to like a sand area and you would tunnel your way underground, and you could fight enemies by either bursting through the ground and hitting them, or sometimes there were like little caves in between these sand areas, and there'll be stuff stuck in between. You sort of jump out and hit them that way, or even use it to sort of get through the sand and then give yourself like a bit of a speed burst and jump out of the sand and get into other areas. So they were like the two sort of mechanics that I saw that I don't really remember from the last game.
I don't remember that either. Was that deep into the game, like the demo?
I don't know, because I was, I think, literally the first one to jump onto that like they were all set up, and it was, I opened the map and nothing was explored. It was just like sitting there. And it seemed like you could sort of just run around, and that was like the way that the last game worked, right? It was these Metroidvania style map where you get to an area and you'd be like, I can't really get to this part yet, and then you get an ability, and then later on you come back. So I don't really know. I just kind of went off and just started playing the game for 10 minutes, and I don't know if it was contained or whatever, or if there was like a time limit or something. But yeah, so I played that. Friday was like my Friday. So I get in there and it's about 10 o'clock now, which is when the show is like opening up, and I'm wearing my Red Dead Redemption t-shirt because it's Red Dead Redemption Day. That's the day it comes out. And I actually had a different t-shirt on that day, and it was my my OG t-shirt, and I swapped it because I was like, no, you know what? I'm gonna wear my Red Dead t-shirt. It's Red Dead Day, and I can pimp out my fucking all my work that I've done when people ask me about it. I was like, yeah, like get them clicks. And so I get into this convention center, and I'm walking around this stage, and I hear someone say, "Come play with Anna," and like it doesn't click, and I'm just walking past. I look up at the screen, and there's like some Dota shit happening on the screen, and then I look to the left, and there's a dude sitting at a keyboard like slouched over like on his phone. And I'm like, holy fuck, it's Anna's playing. Anna's here.
There's a millionaire.
Yeah, so like the one of the best Dota 2 players in the world, maybe the best, right, Joab?
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's sitting there like playing Dota 2, and it's basically like come up and play 1v1 against Anna and see how you go. So it was him just fucking stomping people for 3 days straight, I think. That's probably what it was. So yeah, that was cool. I stood there and watched a couple of games of that. The commentators were pretty funny, talking about how like, oh, Anna's checking his phone midway through the match. Like, this game's so easy for him. Things like that. But he seemed to be having like fun with it, at least. Like, he was messing around a bit. He didn't seem like, you know what he's like in interviews, right? He's not as talkative as what he could be.
Yeah.
And that could just because he's just a young dude and he doesn't understand it yet. But he seemed to be having a good time up there and having fun with people. And there was crowds watching at that stage, at least, because they were doing these sort of staggered like people coming in. It wasn't like we open the doors and everyone fucking runs in. It was they were letting people through slowly.
Oh, okay.
So at that stage it was a bit slow. But
Sure.
he seemed to be up there every day for a couple of hours, just playing people at Quake. Playing people at Quake. Yeah, that was his thing.
That's it.
Something different.
Dota.
I will fuck you at any game you want. So yeah, Dota 2. It was the 1v1 mode that they've got where you have to kill them twice.
Yeah.
Or destroy a tower. I think it's one of those two.
If it is it the same rules as the AI games?
I think the old ones, yeah, it'd be the same.
Yeah, the original. So yeah, destroy a tower counts as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So that was cool, man. I didn't expect that. And also, I guess the other thing that I saw, apparently OG's coming to Melbourne to play in the Dota series. Is this a thing?
It starts with C, right? Conviction.
Yeah. Okay.
Like championships or something. Yeah, it is. I don't think conviction is the right word, but yeah, there is, and KP's new team is coming as well.
Right. That sounds pretty big for here at least.
Yeah, it should be like I mean, it's one of those things we've explored a bit. I guess the growth of Dota, esports in Australia, thanks to Anna's success.
Yeah, right. But it's cool to have like one of the best
yeah.
teams in the world, or the best team.
Yeah,
it's ranked at the moment, coming over here to play. But do you know much about it? Are they bringing? Is it just them stomping people locally, or
I don't even know if it's all of OG.
Yeah, right.
I think it might be Anna, and like he might be subbing into a bit of a like schmozzle made up team. I don't know if it's actually OG coming.
OB.
OB
or VG. VB.
IG. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I'm not sure of the full details. I keep meaning to chase it up, but I'm too busy playing cowboy games. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I went back on the Sunday, and because I don't like going on Saturday much, it's not my thing, because too busy. But I went back on Sunday, got a photo with my OG T-shirt representing.
I saw it. It was very cool.
Yeah, that's the other thing I'll mention is that the layout was quite different this year at the convention center. It seemed like they extended the wall back or something. Like there's more room in there, and they widened up all the sort of the booth spaces in between, so there's more walking area. Which was really good because from what I heard, I was like,
on Saturday it was still fucking rammed. I saw shitloads of pictures.
I did go for like 2 hours or something on Saturday to do some stuff, and it wasn't as busy as what it has been in the past.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't feel like the walkways were as busy. It was still busy, but not like where you were like, this is fucked. That's why I was like, on the Friday, I was like, it doesn't seem as busy what it normally is. And I spoke to someone and they're like, yeah, we've made it bigger. Like we've stretched the room out this year.
Right.
So Friday was my working day. I had interviews and whatnot. I interviewed Pete Hines that day. That was pretty cool because there was only I think 4 people in Australia got to interview him, and it was pretty much just like you could talk about whatever you want. That we don't have anything you want to speak like specifically. We want to talk about. I just yeah, just here's 30 minutes. Just chat with him. So that
Cool.
was pretty cool. That's the second time I've interviewed him in like the last, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months. Whereas the last one was about legends, and I snuck some esports things in there and a few other things.
Sure.
And this one was just like anything I wanted to talk about. So I asked him about things like the state of the industry the last couple of weeks with Telltale Games, and people talking
Yeah.
about unions and crunch at Rockstar and things like that, and then talking about.
Does that interview up?
No, it's still I've still got to do it because I've been sick. I've been just
Yeah.
fucking haven't gone around. Talked to him about like he's celebrating his 20th year at Bethesda this year and just shit like that. Asked him about like does he have any plans, like is he thinking about what happens when he leaves, or now
Right.
like the BioWare brothers, not brothers, doctors. I keep calling them brothers.
Doctors. Yeah.
Yeah, like started a brewing company, and that was like, like, have you got anything about it? Talked to him about working on TES 6 and Starfield, and sort of what we can expect for next gen hardware, and how like them working with Microsoft and Sony, like what their plans are for building that engine and the specifications for those games. So he actually talked about that, which
Yeah.
was cool. Then I asked him about like their review policy for their last bunch of games. Remember when Dishonored 2, Prey 2, Doom, Fallout 4, I think was one of them, where they were just like, we're not doing
Yeah.
reviews until the day of launch. I asked him about those, and if like they believe that affected their sales, because I guess those games reviewed pretty well in the end.
And yet, two of them didn't sell very well.
Yeah. So we talked about that sort of stuff.
What did he say?
Yeah, he talked about how, well, I don't think they believed it had an effect on sales. And they're still like reviewing. I asked him about Fallout 76 and Rage 2. He said they're not even thinking about Rage 2 yet. So standard PR response.
Right.
And it sounds like they're not going to be handing out Fallout 76 early because it's an online game, but there's probably other reasons for that. And
Probably.
yeah, just asking him about random stuff. So that'll go up hopefully in the next couple of days. Like I'll sort of spread it out and whatnot. And then I went and did a NVIDIA presentation. So you and I went last year to go see them, and
Yep.
they showed us like a bunch of their laptops, which
Yeah.
were running their graphics cards, and a bunch of their latest monitors running G-Sync. Whereas this year they've got new graphics hardware to show off with the RTX series.
Yep.
And so I got to take a look at some of those new cards and some of the new technology about that. I spoke about it a couple of weeks ago when they showed that like hour and a half long presentation,
Yep.
and I sort of watched some of that, and a lot of it was pretty highly like detailed. They went pretty deep in terms of the things it was doing and high level stuff basically.
Yeah.
So this was like an opportunity to talk to them directly and get an idea of the direction they're going and what's happening there. And I guess the big one they're focusing on is lighting and things like ray tracing in video games, and it's something that's been used in film for quite a while now, and it just hasn't been possible to do that in a graphics card. Like these, usually you've got like server farms that are rendering these scenes, and they take hours and hours to do. And so the example that we saw in the presentation at the NVIDIA conference a couple weeks ago was the Star Wars one, where you had two stormtroopers in an elevator, and then Phasma walks in, and the elevator starts going down, and basically they end up like being sent off to maybe Hoth or somewhere like that. It's a snow planet. So we saw that demo running in real time. And yeah, man, I think they said it was running at, I think it was 4K at 60 frames, something like that. So that's kind of what they're aiming for with these cards, is that to do 4K at 60 frames, and it looked awesome. and I think I said it last week, like about lighting in Red Dead. Like I understand now why Nvidia is putting such a big emphasis on lighting, because it does change the way that games can look. Um, and so that's what they're doing with this. The other thing they're doing is the AI component. So they have done a bunch of AI work in their other departments, and they're working with car companies and whatnot, and other areas in the industry, and they're bringing that back into graphics cards. And the way they're working with that is, some examples they showed off was like a new form of anti-aliasing, and it's called DLSS that they're doing. And this one they showed some examples on there where you would zoom into like a 4K render, and you can
Yeah.
sort of see like the
Jaggies.
yeah, sort of jaggy bits sort of not lining up, and it didn't look great. And then they're like, all right, well, here's this new form that we're doing, which uses the AI technology to figure out how it should be rendered, and it looks a lot better. Like it looks really good. And then the other benefit to that is it's not as like high processing power on the graphics card, so you're getting more frames as well as it looking better. And they showed some graphs in terms of that. So that seems to be like one area in AI that they're really focusing on. And then the other aspects I talked to them about, like okay, that's cool, but what else are you trying to do? And it's also other like post processing effects that they're looking at, working on. And basically, what's going to happen is developers will start getting a hold of this technology, and then they'll start working it into their games, and eventually it'll just start flowing through, and games will just start using this AI tech a lot more. So yeah, it's like an interesting way of doing that sort of thing. I don't know if you saw the video at all of when they announced this, of like putting it was like a motion, like a cartoon of a car driving down the street, and it was in like just outline. It was just an outline of the car moving down the street, and they got the AI to basically fill in all the colors and like what things are in the world. So there'd be like a stop sign, and it would
Yeah.
be like, that's a stop sign, I know that's a stop sign, and like fill in all those bits and pieces, or like that's a tree and that's a traffic light, and all of a sudden this like what was essentially a cartoon is now it looks like a moving video. So they were doing things like that with AI, which is kind of interesting, and sort of thinking about how they could incorporate that into video games was kind of cool way of thinking about it. But yeah, post processing effects, sort of where that's going at the moment.
Sure.
So one of the games they had there, so we got to see this in motion, which was Metro Exodus, and this is it was playable. So I sat
Right.
down and played. I think it was a 20-minute demo,
Sure.
20-minute time demo. Metro Exodus is an open world game, so it was basically just here's an area and go exploring. It seemed like I could kind of go wherever I wanted to, not like, well, at the start of it at least, it was like, hey, we're gonna funnel you down this area, but then it started to branch off a little bit, and I could kind of just go wherever I wanted. It started off by giving me a crossbow, playing with a crossbow, and then some like shit shacks were in the area, and I'd go through and sort of explore all of them. And this is kind of where it was showing off the RTX technology in some decent examples, where you've got this like wooden shack or this wooden house, and not all of the wood is sort of aligned properly, and you've got like cracks in the walls, or there'd be windows with curtains around. And in a normal game, you'd have like you'd have light sources, right? You'd have lighting in that shack in certain areas, whether or not maybe there is no actual physical lights in this house, but you'd still have it lit some way or another within the game. And so what RTX is doing is like, all right, there's a sun outside, and all the light is coming from that sun, and it's streaming into the house. So you'd have light coming from outside and sort of reflecting inside the world, like in the walls and through cracks. You'd see it like God rays streaming through certain areas. You'd go to a dark area of the room that's not lit, and it'd be actually dark, and you could see like sort of really finite details in there, like certain shadows in specific places. And you're like, oh yeah, okay, cool, like I get it. It's like it looks like this, but I asked the guy like, can you switch off RTX, or is this what you've got? And he looked at me, he's like, oh, actually, I'm not too sure. And then he went and spoke to someone and came back. He's like, yes, actually, you can in this demo. and he figured it out and switched it off. And like, yeah, it was a huge difference.
Yeah.
Looking at how like a normal game is lit, and sort of, I used to do map making fucking yonks like 15 years ago. Um,
Sure.
and like putting light sources in certain areas of the room to light it up and whatnot. And just like that's the way that room looked when you suddenly switch that thing off. It wasn't like the whole thing was just pitch black. It was like, oh, there's like light sources in this area. Like, it just didn't make any sense. And suddenly,
Yep.
when you switch it RTX back on, you've got a light source coming from outside the room, and it's lighting
Yep.
up the room the way you think it should be, with like it coming through a window or cracks in the walls. And this corner bathroom, there shouldn't be any light in there, so that's why it's dark. The moment you switch that off, it's like there's actually, you can see in there and there's light for whatever reason. Didn't just yeah. So it'd be cool to sort of see how that works. The other example that they showed, I guess, was the Battlefield one that we saw, of how you have like reflections on certain objects, and the way they were
Yep.
done in the past in games, you'd have like this static image that would just sort of reflect something in the environment. It wasn't necessarily what was there, but this time with ray tracing, it's actually reflecting what is around you, and it can figure that out. Like if there is an explosion happening off screen from a tank blowing up, then
Yeah.
that will be what is happening in puddles in the world or reflecting
Yeah.
off
That's
of
awesome.
cars and shit like that.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
I'm really interested to see how that impacts competitive gaming.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think that's. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know what you mean.
Because yeah, like you look at a game like Rainbow Six, right? Where
Mm,
or Counter Strike, where information is everything.
sure.
Uh, I think yeah, like subtle reflections are going to be very subtle indications that will convey a hardware level advantage.
Sure. I think that's an
Uh,
interesting idea, right?
yeah, it's obviously I guess at the end of the day, it still has to be implemented, right? It's not like every game has ray tracing RTX shit in it from the get go.
Sure.
Only a handful of games have it, right? So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
probably not going to impact the esports scene immediately. But I don't question. Like, there's no question in my mind that we're going to start to see it. It's going to be interesting if it winds up being, I don't know, Call of Duty, right? Seems like a big enough game that it could probably uh, pursue
Sure.
this sort of implementation.
Yeah.
Like, I think it'd be huge. Rainbow Six, I think it'd be a really easy fucking win for them to add it to one of their season packs, to update it and say, we're introducing RTX.
Sure.
Like those games in particular, I think, yeah, like other games, League of Legends and Dota, I don't think it's gonna fucking matter.
No.
But yeah, like games where information is king and your general source of information, which is your viewpoint, is restricted, which is first person.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be fucking huge.
Right.
And so yeah, I'm very interested to see how that plays out. But
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in motion personally, so yeah, I don't know.
I guess we'll find out when Battlefield comes out and videos
If there
online
is,
or something like
I
that.
mean, there'll be a competitive element. Obviously, there's always a competitive element in Battlefield, but there won't be a. I'll be very surprised if there's a scene. They will have to work pretty fucking hard.
Yeah.
I know this is going to upset the fucking Battlefield dorks, but
Sure.
generally it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like, and yeah, prove me wrong, Battlefield is what I'm saying, right? Like,
Yeah.
prove me wrong, motherfuckers. But until then, I will basically just operate under the assumption that there's no fucking competitive scene for Battlefield. So I don't see how it's going to. Yeah, I don't see, because in a general sense, I don't think being able to see my reflection is going to change whether or not you kill me. Like, I don't think that's going to swing the tide of a conquest map.
Sure.
That'll be sick. That'll be fucking awesome. But yeah, it's not going to convey a tangible competitive advantage because of the scale of the battles
Yeah.
that take place.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to see a little bit of Metro Exodus and how RTX is being used in that. I think the other, Battlefield 5 is one of them. I know Shadow of the Tomb Raider is also one. I'm not sure what else is coming out, but yeah, it looks cool. So yeah, Metro Exodus, at least I can talk tiny bit about that. Open world. The thing that I guess is not back in there from what I understand is something that I really liked in that first game was the money, the currency in the world is your ammo. I always thought that was a really unique and interesting concept, where it was like, shit, if I shoot this thing, I'm basically wasting away money, or I've got to be accurate at least. I can't just spray this thing with bullets.
Yeah,
Um, Always thought that was cool, and that doesn't seem like it's back. I'm pretty sure they got rid of that in the last one, right?
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure they did. Yeah,
Um, yeah, but this one is like an open world environment, so it was running around this shitty town. There were a bunch of dudes in there running around. Something that I thought was quite interesting. I started fucking destroying some of these dudes, and then they would surrender. And stop. Like I'd come up to them and be like, "No, no, I surrender." They put their hands up, and so I'd kill them naturally because that's what I do. And
cool.
yeah, that was kind of fun. It was kind of just exploring the world and seeing what was out there. I came across a guy that wanted me to go find something, so obviously some sort of quest, some quest mission.
Yep.
But yeah, it seems in the 20 minutes that I played it, it seems like it's all right. Like it didn't blow me away in terms of anything new. It was pretty first person shootery. So I guess we got to wait and see how that one sort of shapes up. But otherwise, yeah, man, I think the biggest problem with the RTX cards is the price point at this stage, and trying to convince people that this is something you want. And because they're so far in front in terms of like the leader in the industry, they can afford to put them out at these prices.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like they showed us that I think it was a Titan X card. I'm pretty sure it was a Titan X card running against a 2080 Ti in one of the Unreal Engine demos. It's the one where you've got that invisible, like the Mission Impossible wall and the robot lady. I think it's a robot lady. And there's like this soldier that comes up to the wall and can't see her, and that's because it's like reflecting what's behind her. And then all of a sudden, like a water droplet breaks the image or something like that. So anyway, they were showing us that and how it wasn't running at maximum frame rate on the Titan X, whereas on the Ti it's doing it all itself.
Sure.
So yeah, that was kind of how they were comparing it. But yeah, man, I think if you're like looking for an upgrade, I don't know, like it's for me who's
You're looking for an upgrade, aren't you?
yeah, I was, but the price came out. I'm like, oh fucking hell, because they're like $2,000. And if I was to get one, I'd go for the Ti, like the 2080 Ti. And
Because
like,
it doesn't make any sense to, restrict yourself, right?
yeah, because I want to like I want to solidify myself for the next 5 or 6 years or however long it's
Yeah.
going to take me, 2 generations, because that's what I usually do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if like a 1080 is worth, like, would you go from a 1080 Ti to a 2080 Ti? Probably not,
No.
unless you've got the money to throw around.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely going to give you an improvement,
Yeah.
and quite a lot. But yeah, is it worth it for games that are out these days? Unless you're running at 4K 60, because you're going to get a stupid amount of frames on any other game at, I don't know, whatever you're playing at. I play most of my stuff at 1080p, so
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah, well, I've got this fancy new monitor and it's got G-Sync and all that kind of
Yeah,
shit. And I've still only got a 1070 in my machine, and that's sort of, I bought that figuring I'd never really push past 1080p.
yeah,
I didn't really care to play past it.
yeah,
And now I'm sort of like, I don't know. It's not really using this fucking monitor very well, is it? It's like I'm not getting 144 frames at 1440p or whatever the fuck it is. So yeah, maybe I do need an upgrade. I don't know. Maybe I just get more RAM and
yeah.
play games on 1080p.
Like most of them are 144, or they go up even higher now these days.
Yeah, there's 240 and shit.
But the
right?
G-Sync's not about that. It's about like stopping the tearing and whatnot
Yeah,
from your card, and making sure it looks smooth.
yeah, but I want it to G-Sync at 144 or whatever the
Right.
fuck. I want it to G-Sync at the maximum.
Did it take you a little while to get used to that
Yes.
monitor? Did it look
Yes,
weird at the start?
it did look weird.
Yeah.
Like the colors, like all looked a bit odd, and the like games didn't seem to work like the way I expected. And now I've adjusted,
Yeah,
and
that's what I had.
sometimes the game will open up on my one of my because I've got three monitors now. Sometimes it'll open up on the what it thinks is monitor one, and I'll be like, "No, what's this bullshit? This is garbage." Which I guess is the reaction you had whenever you come over to my place to play on my garbage screens, right? You used to always complain. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry. Anyway, the key, I think, key takeaway from this is Nvidia send us a pair of 2080 Ti's, one
yeah.
each.
I'll pimp the
Bingo,
shit out of
bango.
that card.
Oh man, we will shill so fucking hard for that shit. It'll be ridiculous. I'll write all my stories. All right, watched Gfinity season 2 out this weekend on my computer, streaming it via Twitch on my glorious 2080 Ti, and it was the best it's ever been at 720p or whatever the fuck they broadcast at. Yeah, it's never like the ray tracing from the stream.
Yeah.
Perfect. Actually, if you're watching this on our YouTube, you can see right now that I've got RTX making me
Enabled in
look
your room.
as pale as humanly possible. It's the best lighting of all time. I don't know what's going on. Which, like, if we're gonna do video, Luke, we should probably look into some sort of professional bullshit about this shit. Instead of I don't know. I look like I'm going supernova or something. That's my problem. Is I look like I'm getting brighter and brighter every second that goes past, and eventually I'm going to turn into a being of pure energy. And
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's what everyone wants to have happen in their lives, but yeah, I just don't think it'll make for a good video. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Nvidia send us cards. Yeah. Anything else from PAX?
Yeah. Played a bunch of games. Before I get to that, I watched the Rainbow Six.
Yeah,
Games that happened.
I watched a bit of this live, and then I caught up on a bunch of it over the course of this week. It was the Masters, Six Masters
Yeah.
series. It was entertaining. It was pretty
It was
entertaining.
really, really good, and they had an awesome turnout. I think it was like in the past couple of years they've done things like League of Legends and like I think like Smite was up there one year, something like
They
that.
did Smites, they did Paladins, they did Street Fighter, they did League of Legends.
Yeah,
Yeah, a whole bunch of stuff.
yeah, yeah. Um, and so it was really interesting to see people get into like how big that game has become. Like the place is packed. It was people were sitting down. Like the whole area was just full of people sitting there, and people standing behind in the walkway, sitting down on the sides. Like it was just, it was really kicking off. So
Sweet.
that was really good to see. And people were getting really into it. There was guys and girls with t-shirts on with their favorite teams and cheering whoever was up on the stage.
Cool.
So that was really good. And they had four teams there. So they had a team from Japan, Norengo,
Norengo, yeah.
who they fucking stomped.
They're the APAC
Us.
champions. Yeah.
Yeah, they're the APAC champions that'll be playing in. Is it Brazil? At the end of this
Yes.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Australia ended up second in that group. We got smashed. Like I think we won 2 rounds.
Yeah,
in that
Norango
series.
destroyed them at the APAC Champions. Although Fnatic, that was Fnatic who they wrecked. Fnatic is still going over to Brazil as well.
Yes, yeah, yeah. They get to go over, but they end up playing in a they end up playing a first seed from another region.
Yeah,
Whereas Norango will play a second seed from
another region. Yeah,
whatever region that is.
yeah. So it's a bit of a tougher road ahead for Fnatic, but that doesn't matter. So this Fnatic was at the Masters, Six Masters as well. Who else was it? Atletico
Atletico was there.
and
and
It was the fourth team.
the other team was Darkseid, Darksided.
Dark-sided. Yeah. So yeah, Dark-sided was the fourth team. Um, so Dark-sided kicked things off against Fnatic, right? And holy fuck, that was a close match. That was closer than it should have been.
Yeah,
Like I don't know if Fnatic were hungover or something, but fuck me, that there was some hectic throws. That's the one I watched live,
yeah, right.
and I'm like, this is some shit. Like Darksiders were playing really well, Fnatic were playing like shit. I'm like,
Mm.
Fnatic aren't even going to make it out of the fucking first round. This is crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
But yeah, they managed to pull their fucking fingers out and sort their lives out.
Yeah,
They got their shit together, and yeah, they managed to get up over in it was a best of three, and they managed to get up in the third game.
yeah,
It didn't look like they were going to in the first game. It didn't. It looked like it was going to be a quick 2-0 for Darkseid. I think it's a really good sign for the state of Australian Rainbow Six to see teams really pushing Fnatic,
sure.
because it means the scene is growing in a healthy way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then next up was Atletico versus Norengo. That also went to 3 games, and Atletico looked fucking awesome.
Yeah, that first game.
Especially after their performance at the APAC Championships, which was pretty disappointing, in my opinion. But I thought they looked fucking really, really good.
Yep.
Looked like they were going to really fucking rip up Norengo, unfortunately, for Atletico. Norengo, again, sorted their lives out, and bingo, bango. They got through to the finals.
They did. So it's
there were
Fnatic
losers.
versus Norengo.
Were there losers brackets games?
No, they played
No,
all 3
yeah.
games that on
Oh
that
no,
day.
it was the other. It was the other games. Fucking Quake had losers brackets.
Yeah. Single elimination. Sorry.
Yeah. So so the grand finals were Fnatic versus Norengo, which I guess is the APAC Championship rematch.
Yeah.
Yeah. These two teams have played against each other a lot.
Yeah.
I think they're even friends in real life. Like outside of the game, I think they're like friends with one another. They get
Yeah,
along.
from what I understand, they hung out.
Yeah. There was no friendship in this game. It was another. All the games went the distance. They all went. They were all best of threes, right?
They were all best of threes.
And they all went to the third game.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, but I think the Fnatic versus Darksided was definitely the closest of the 3.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one seemed. Yeah, Norengo got up early, but they just got wipes after that. Like proper shredded. 6-3, 6-3, right? I don't 100%.
Yeah, so the first round went to Norengo 6-3.
Yeah.
And
oh no, it was 6-1, right? The second map was 6-1 to Fnatic.
Yeah, second map was Clubhouse, and they were talking about how Norengo is not really like like they don't know that map very well. They don't play it, and they were the commentators really surprised that they'd actually let that map through.
Right.
And so yeah, it was like a 6-1 basically. They just came out and stomped.
Yeah.
And so at that stage it was tied. It was back to a reset. And then
Yep.
the last game kicked off, and it wasn't looking good because it was on Consulate, and
Yeah.
I've seen them play this map before, and it didn't go well. I mean, like we watched it a couple weeks back, and yeah, like Norengo just like completely stomped Fnatic, and so this match started off, and I think it started off like a
It's huge, right? Like
3-1.
Wasn't it like 4-1? I thought.
No,
It might have been 3-1. Yeah, and then because they lost 6-3, right? And they got all 3 basically from the get go, and then
yeah,
Fnatic came back and smashed into them.
yeah. It wasn't looking good.
round
Everyone
after
there
round.
was pretty worried because
Yeah.
obviously it's a pretty heavily based Australian crowd.
Yes.
They were asking before the tournament started, like, who's gonna win? Like, let's get a show of hands. It was like, who's gonna win? And they asked Norango, and I think it was me and three other guys put our hands up. I was like, I've seen this match played out
Yeah.
recently. So yeah, that last round was like, it was not looking good, and then all of a sudden, Fnatic just turned it around and they
Yeah.
dominated on defense. There was some really sloppy plays from Norango. Their best player accidentally killed himself in, I think, the third last round with a grenade. And then the final round, they were repelling on the side of one of the buildings,
The
and
office. Yeah.
they were trying to get into the room, and there was a Fnatic player on the ground prone, stopping them from coming in. And Norango knew that he was there, but this guy couldn't move, and so they primed a grenade, and they threw, I think, a flashbang in,
Yeah.
and then they primed or maybe that was a grenade. And anyway, the first one missed, and they primed a second one, and he held it too long and blew himself up and the guy next to him, and so
Yeah.
all of a sudden, this is like basically game point, and
Yeah.
yeah,
They're
they're
two
now
players
down
from the
two
get-go.
players, yeah,
Yeah.
and that ended up.
And you'd 100% tilt on that one as well.
yeah.
Like the comms would be hideous. Yeah, I cannot imagine it being a. I mean, yeah, maybe it was all luck. Like, it was only for money, so maybe they didn't care too much. My screen's turned off. Yeah, maybe they didn't care too much, and they were like, it's pretty funny, it's fine. But
Yeah.
I don't think so. They're like, yeah, you don't get to that level without being pretty fucking competitive. So
Yeah, they were definitely
you'd be pretty
competitive.
fucking tilted. Yeah,
So yeah, that was an interesting moment of like, it was like, yes, they've, unless something really fucking bad happens, like their best player has just died, and he's taken one other person out with him. I think they ended up taking that map like without a single death. That round. So that was really
Yep.
good. So yeah, Atletico. Fnatic. I keep calling them fucking
Fnatic.
Atletico.
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
Fnatic, only because like Fnatic I associate with an overseas team and
Yeah.
not an Australian team. So yeah, they ended up winning that tournament. It was a $25,000 prize pool, I believe.
yeah.
I think it was 15,000 for first place. And
That's
so
awesome.
that finished. They
They can use that to hire security when they go to Sao Paulo.
yeah,
Won't be enough, but
won't be enough.
it's
Yeah.
a step in the right direction. Yeah,
Yes, but Norango did look like they were still having fun when that game ended. Like they're like, yeah, like I guess they got flown out to Australia to play
Yeah.
Rainbow Six Siege, so they're probably okay with
that's
that.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, man, like I think we got a really strong region for APAC between them and Fnatic.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see how it goes in Brazil.
Yeah,
And then
me
also
too.
at the Invitational next year. I think
of course.
that'll be cool to watch.
Yeah,
pumped.
100%.
Especially because I'm sure they've only rotated one player out. I don't have my list up here, but I thought it looked like there was one player that was new from what I'd seen. It's all the same guys from like the console era.
Right. I think only 3 came across.
Yeah, I mean since then, since they switched
Right.
to console.
Yeah, Kings, I think. They might have dropped Kings after the Invitational this year.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's really cool. It's awesome to see so many people. There was like tons of Rainbow Six T-shirts floating around, cosplay, people dressed up as Tachanka and their favorite character from Siege. It's really popular. It's good to see. It's awesome.
Sweet.
In
Good.
Australia at least, because
Yeah.
I've been to the Invitational and obviously I've seen the people that are fanatics like around the world. But it's cool to see like a local scene. We don't normally see it like a local tournament played where there's spectators. It's usually like we're going to the ESL stage in Auburn, and it's it's just a bunch of randoms.
People come out when they are given the opportunity to actually fucking spectate. Like,
Yeah.
IEM Sydney smashed, Melbourne Esports Open was packed for both like the major games, and I'm pretty sure the Counter Strike was definitely packed. The Fortnite was brand. I think depending on the game, the fighting game stuff like cycled throughout. I think that's a tougher one for that sort of scene. But yeah, like people want to come out and watch fucking esports live. There's definitely a tangible quality to watching it. Personally, I will watch everything fucking on delay wherever the fuck I can. But yeah, like people are about it. Like people get into it. So yeah.
Yeah, it's good to see.
Yeah. Anyway, so you played some other games as well, right?
Yeah, so I played a bunch of indie games because like most of the AAA stuff we've seen somewhere before, or it's like an E3 build, or stuff like that. Um, what was interesting was they do this every year because it's so late in the cycle, but they have like here's Spider Man or here's Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah.
The fucking Spider Man line was I think they had like 6 or 7, maybe 8 stations set up for Spider Man at the PlayStation booth, and there was a fucking line for Spider Man every time I walked past. People playing it. Same with Assassin's Creed. Like, there's a lot of people out there that have not played these games, which is yeah, it's crazy to me. It's
They're just not scenarios in which I'd want to play those games either. You know,
I don't know. Maybe they
like
just haven't checked them out.
I guess. But yeah, I don't know what you're going to get out of Assassin's Creed. It's got a 6-hour fucking tutorial. I don't know what you're going to get out of fucking a 20-minute session with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. You know, like yeah, the concept escapes me. Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway, so I played some indie games. I'll go through the list here. A lot of like arena brawler games where you're dropped into a room and it's like you have to fight 3 other people,
cool.
and there's weapons and shit. Like there was a lot of those types of games there this year.
Probably lends itself well to the PAX.
Sure, I
Like,
guess they're like wanting to churn over. Like we want a lot of people to play,
yeah,
rather than just like one person looking at a screen and
yeah.
that sort of thing. Yeah, I always like going over to the indie section and checking out like what is over there because most of it is usually like really interesting.
I walk away like last year. I walked away with like 7 or 8 games that I immediately wish listed as soon as I could get back to my Steam and stuff.
I did
Like,
not have that this year. There wasn't
what?
anything that I looked at that was like,
Yeah, really.
that's fucking nuts. Like you, sometimes I'll walk around there and I'll be like, you got to go play this game. It's insane.
Yeah, yeah. I remember
Maybe it's just
last.
because I didn't play
I
it.
can't remember what you told me to play, but there was something last year that you were like, "Yeah, you got to go play this game." Fucking
Yeah,
what was it? It was like, yeah, I can't remember.
yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, not that this year. Was
I don't.
there? What?
I don't know. It's just because I didn't see the one that was
Yeah,
like
like
fucking.
you didn't see them all, so you might have missed the one, the perfect game. But
Well, there
yeah,
was
I
there
don't
was a lot there. There was like interesting ones where like speaking simulator looked fucking goofy and wacky, um, just weird stuff like that. But uh, what have I got here? Nom Nom Apocalypse is 2-player isometric, like Enter the Gungeon type game.
know. Okay,
Um, that was really interesting.
sure.
Dismantle Construction Carnage was one of these arena brawler games. Like everybody's a robot, like a battle robot, and there's a bunch of different levels in there. Each arena has like sometimes like a little gimmicky thing that it does. But you're basically fighting each other with weapons or maybe just your fists, and you sort of losing limbs while that's happening.
Mm.
And every once in a while, when your limb falls off, you maybe need to go and get it. And if you don't, then you lose that limb, and so you end up with stages where you've got no leg and you're just hopping around this room, and then all of a sudden your second leg's gone, and now you're just like a torso hobbling around, or maybe you lose both your arms, and you kind of in a bit of trouble at that stage. Um,
Sure.
so I was amazing at that game. I won, I think, every single round.
Yeah. Those 13-year-olds never knew what was coming.
Yeah, I think
Fucking smashed them.
I think the best game that I played there is this one. It's called Soundfall. Um, it's got a really awesome art style. It's this isometric game, and it's also playable in multiplayer. Other people can come in and play with you. It's a rhythm. It's a rhythm like action brawler. Um,
Right.
so you the character that I was playing was a lady, and she had like a sword or something like that, or and a gun. Um, and there's a beat happening in the game, like there's music playing, and you attack in time to the beat, and you end up building like a combo meter, which allows you to do more damage and use abilities. Um, it's just a really interesting way of having like one of those games playable, and it's yeah, it's just really, it works really well. Like you're sort of creating music as you're playing, but at the same
Yeah.
time, by doing that, you're also causing more damage to enemies.
Yeah.
And the art style looks really slick. It's there's just shit exploding on the screen all the time. Even if you're not doing it in time to the music, it still feels like it's you're still doing stuff in the game, and it still feels like it feels good, which is a lot of fun. So that I think that's the one game that I walked away with being like, that looks probably that's the only one that looks something different. And they weren't a local Australian team. They were from like California or somewhere
Right.
around that region.
Yeah.
But definitely keep an eye out for that one. It looks slick. Um,
Cool.
Dimensions Versus was basically a free to play Smash Brothers game. I played as a guy with a TV on his head, and as somebody who's not quite versed to Smash Brothers, it was like, oh yeah, I'm not a big fan of Smash Brothers, so these types of games, I'm like, yeah, cool, I get it. There's like different combos for each type of character that you play, and it seemed like a pretty cool concept. It's just not my style of game.
Sure.
But a free to play Smash Brothers on the on Steam sounds probably pretty appealing to people. Hunt and
Yeah.
Seek is a game that we played, I think, last year. It is a top down game where there's like three or four people that are in this environment, and they're invisible, and you walk around this like dark area, and you can light yourself up to see where you are, or you can sort of interact with objects in the environment. It shows you on the screen whereabouts you are in the environment, and then there's one player who is the monster who has to go and try and capture all the people that are around and find them. And it's just like a hide and seek type game. So this was back this year, and it was just new maps, different types of maps you could play. Seemed a bit more polished, which is cool. But
Cool.
yeah, that's one that's interesting. Foxlight Journey is a game made by a bunch of students. I think that was AIE they were from. It was only something they'd be working on for about 2 months. You're basically a fox, and it's a puzzle platformer, and you're going from screen to screen and solving puzzles. It starts off pretty basic, from being like you jump from one platform to another, and then they start off by moving platforms and that sort of thing. You could sort of fall to your death or run into spikes, and it throws you back to a checkpoint. At one stage, there was like a screen where there was a bunch of puzzle elements on there. You had to press some buttons, and each stage that you sort of went through, to be like, all right, here's something else it's doing. Now it's going to throw laser beams at you, and yeah, and it's just basically. I offered go, like it was kind of expanding on it and working on that. It was kind of a game they created like a game jam, and it's
Yeah.
kind of evolved to this point. So that was cool.
Cool.
They kind of just grabbed me. I was walking down a hallway, and they just said they must have seen my badge and were like, "Hey, do you want to come check out our game that we made?" They were,
Cool.
like, he fucking came and grabbed me. Like I was nowhere near their booth. he, he found me. 22nd Century Racing Series. I think that's the name of the game. It was up on the booth, but wasn't 100% sure. It's a racing game where it uses physics as well. I think they called it the first 3D physics racing game, something like that. It reminded me a lot of like Wipeout, that type of style.
Okay. Yeah.
And the way that worked was you'd be in like a tube, and there would be elements on the screen, or maybe objects in your way, certain areas of this tube that you would be in that would make you go quicker. Sometimes if you're upside down in a certain area to make you go faster, if you were on a certain a path that'd make you go quicker. There were abilities that you could use to make you go faster. It was pretty like a basic concept. There was like a drop out multiplayer component that seemed really interesting. Like as I was playing, my screen that was fucking huge, all of a sudden it turned into split screen, and some dude next to me was playing like he just pressed a button, and now I'm on the screen. And then a fourth dude came along and started playing, and now like it made it smaller again. Like it was pretty interesting, sort of the way it sort of just adapted to people jumping in and out. Really cool way of doing that in an environment at PAX, because they weren't being like, all right, we got to restart the map over and over again. It was kind of just like post it and leave, and the screen get bigger and smaller. That was cool.
Cool.
But apart from the giving you an idea of the racing elements, it wasn't really like there wasn't any more to it. It was just kind of giving you an idea of how the game worked, being able to rotate your vehicle in this sort of 3D space, and how that sort of handled and what speeds you could get. Maybe it was like a time trial thing it was doing. It seemed like, hey, this is the fastest lap, because it was doing like this person's coming first and this one's third. So yeah, really interesting way of doing like a racing game like that. What else did I see? I think that was about all the ones worth mentioning. I saw the Devolver. Sorry.
There was a game I was pretty sure going. It was there last year. It was like Dead Stick Drive or Dead Light Drive or something. It's like a
no idea.
No, like sort of top down. You drive around solving mysteries or some shit.
Maybe might have been that.
Dead Static Overdrive. Dead Static Drive.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, I don't know. That was there last year.
There was tons of games.
Yeah.
I just didn't see. I didn't play much of them. Or I played like 12 or something like that. I spoke to the guys at Infliction. That's horror game, Australian horror game. I think it's called Infliction. I'm gonna check really quickly.
Okie dokie.
But that's one you should definitely play. It seems like something you're up your alley. I'm
gonna poo. Am I?
Yeah, for sure. Infliction. It's got these like PT vibes going for it.
Oh, okay, cool.
And the dude launched a Kickstarter a couple of months back for it.
Right.
It's out on Steam now. So
nice.
I did see that one floating around on Twitter a while back. So I spoke to them and said that would definitely be up your alley. That game looks cool. And just a bunch of really interesting games. It was like a DJ Hero type game there that was seemed like something I'd get into. The deck they were using looked a lot more complicated than like it didn't look plasticky, I'd say. Looks like
did it look more like the proper arcade DJing ones, those loony ones that have like fucking a billion buttons.
There was a lot of buttons on this one.
Two spinners. I don't know DJ terms.
Yeah, it looks smaller than the DJ Hero deck, but it had more buttons on there. And it wasn't like you were it didn't seem like you were tapping like DJ Hero, sort of like Guitar Hero, right? You just tap to the beat, and then every once in a while you just fucking spin it around and do all this sort of shit. This was like, it seemed like you were at its easiest form. Maybe it was. There was like a blue color and then a red color, and you just sort of had to spin the deck in the correct color sequence. So you weren't actually tapping buttons at that stage. It was just moving it in the right, making sure you were in the right lane, I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
But it was the other buttons that kind of made me interested, because how fucking hectic does this game get? That looked cool.
Cool.
What else is there that looked interesting? I don't know, man. Like there was just a lot of stuff that was playable, and that's usually the place I go to check out all of the games. But yeah, busy PAX.
Play any board games?
I went and watched Gav play Blood Bowl. He was teaching people how to play it.
Isn't he terrible? I heard he was terrible. Why would you get someone who's terrible to teach others how to play a fucking game? That doesn't make any sense to me.
I can't believe you're trolling him while he's not here. Well,
I'm not trolling him. Everything I've heard about how he plays that game is that he's terrible at it and he loses all the time and then he gets grumpy. So why would you get someone who loses? Like it'd be getting me to teach people how to play Dota. It's easy. Pick the sniper.
Stand back. Don't die.
Yeah.
Anytime you see someone, run away.
What am I buying? What are you buying? Probably guns. I think the sniper would probably buy guns,
Just
right?
shoes. Just buy 6 shoes and you'll be fine.
Shoes. Okay, lots of shoes. Do shoes help you run away faster?
No, but they'll give you
Oh,
stats. Just treads. Buy treads
okay.
or agility boots. Just buy a bunch of them. You'll be fine.
Buy a wizard's staff.
Yeah, for your
Yep,
sniper man.
for your sniper man. Yeah. See, this is what I'm saying, right? Like that's what I imagine Gav teaching people to play Blood Bowls. Like,
Yeah. I'll
uh,
tell you what. The little map that they use
yeah.
to play the game, like it's like a piece of paper or standard fucking board game thing. Not as impressive as
Board.
what he was playing on. It was like a fucking decked out, like someone had made
Oh, has he bought
this
all the
physical.
stuff?
Yeah, you know how you go see those miniatures and they've like built like a whole thing, like a whole area. There's like land
Yep.
and trees and shit. This was kind of like that. It was like a football stadium. I want to play on one of those. I don't want to play on the piece of paper. Piece of paper looks
So did
rubbish.
is that his?
No, somebody made that,
Oh, okay.
and
Does he normally
I was like, you
play
should
on
just steal
paper?
this because this is amazing. I would play it
Yeah.
all the time. It would look like this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fair. Can't you play it on PC?
I think you
Why
can.
would you play it in real life if you can play it on PC?
Um,
No need to roll dice. No need to move little dudes. Like
don't know.
computers. Computers. I'll tell you what.
Computer's
There's a way of
pretty
the
good.
future. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Okay. I played a board game.
Did you?
Played Robo Rally.
Right.
Where it's where you like everyone programs. You like set up a program for your robots to move, and they all play out at the same time.
Right.
And there's sort of like a priority system in place, and that dictates like when certain things will occur. Uh, and so yeah, you've got like these robots, and it's sort of like interesting interactions that sort of fuck. Like, I might play a move that sends me forward one, but you've played a move that will intersect.
Yeah.
Like, you'll intercept me before I get to make that move, and so you push me out a square, and then suddenly every move I make from there on out is like changed. It's altered because I was accounting for being somewhere else, and so you've got to sort of really anticipate how everyone else is going to play and stuff. I got super vindictive. I got pushed to my death right when I was about to like get to the second objective, and so I just went and camped at the last objective and made sure nobody could get to it. I just sort of circled around that and fucked with people for the rest of the game until we all got bored. So I ruined that game. Good times. Apparently, it's used to teach children how to program,
Right.
or like the fundamentals of programming. Some shit. I don't know. I didn't learn anything, so I guess I'm not a child. Chalk one up for Jobo. Anyway,
Yeah.
continue telling us about PAX.
What else is there? I went to the Devolver Digital booth.
Oh yeah.
Um, checked out some of their games I got coming out. There's there's that From Software game, Wolf Metal Chaos
Oh yeah.
XD,
Yeah.
which is a old school Japanese game.
Metal Wolf Chaos.
Yeah, where you're playing as like the president who has
A
a
robot.
giant robot, because why
Yep.
not?
Yep.
And he's trying to fight the vice president.
Yep.
Sounds like pretty insane. Yeah, it's
It's pretty Japanesey, bro.
It's pretty Japanesey, bro. Yeah. The other one that I think I'm hearing a lot of good things about is My Friend Pedro. That looks really cool.
Oh, that's the one where they're like the bananas and shit, right? And he's like sort of scooting through shit and murdering people off frying pans and whatnot.
Yeah, and it's got this like weird bullet timey physics
Yeah.
effects. Like everything sort of slows down. Super stylish. That game looks really slick. The other game they had there was, oh shit, how do I pronounce it? Pika Uniku, I think it's called. It's sort of like a puzzle exploration game where you're this little blobby thing with legs. It reminded me a lot of Semblance, which I spoke about maybe 2 months ago, which is
Yep.
also a Devolver Digital game.
Right.
This one seemed to have co-op in it though. Oh, well, I'm not saying it's the same game, but it was a co-op game at least where you could play with other people. And it looked funny
Yeah.
because there would be like you could fuck with other people, like kick them off the edges and shit like that. And that seems amazing. So like I saw a dude playing by himself and he was just running around and couldn't really figure out how to solve this puzzle. And it's because somebody else needed to be on the same screen as him with the other
Oh,
controller. And
right.
eventually someone came along and just fucking kicked him down a hill. And I thought that was pretty good. So yeah, that made me laugh.
Gold. Was that someone you?
It was not me, no.
Right.
They had a fourth game there, but I can't remember it was like called Gush or Gust or something like that. I think it started with a G. I was trying to watch people play it, and I couldn't really understand what was going on.
Okay.
Super arty looking game,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm not sure. Anyway, they look cool, and I've got my Devolver T-shirt on. No one can see it. It's like a PAX.
Oh,
It's a PAX T-shirt.
I've got my WrestleMania shirt on. Nobody can see it.
Right.
Wrestling's dead.
Wrestling is done.
Hulk Hogan, he's back, and I'm done with all wrestling. But I'll still wear this shirt. It's a good shirt.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, Devolver they did like Scum, so that's
Yeah.
one of their games they've done. And I've talked about a bunch of their games recently.
They did the fucking hilarious E3 conference.
Yeah,
They're
again,
the best. Yeah. Yeah.
again. So that was kind of the indie games that I saw. I didn't play any board games. A lot of booths. The biggest booth this year was the Omen Red Bull booth. They had a bunch of like racing car setups with like cockpits that you kind of sit in. They'd fucking move around and shit. They had like a wingsuit setup where you would lie down, and it was in VR, I believe, and
Yeah.
you'd
They had
like move around.
fans as well. So
Fans, yeah.
yeah, they had fans pointing at you, and you were like tilted and stuff while you were moving, and the fans are blowing your face. And apparently, someone vomited.
Right, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible. Because I went past there, and the PR girl, one of the PR girls that was looking after it, was like, "Oh, where's Joab?" And I'm like, "He's not here." And so we're talking, and she's like, "Do you want some Red Bull?" I was like, "No, I'm fine." Do you want to play the flying game? She's like, "Just come past tomorrow morning and just jump on. I'll get you on there." I'm like, "I don't think I should be on that thing first thing in the morning. That sounds like a terrible idea."
Can't believe you didn't do it.
No, but they had like a pretty. I looked at it and I was like, that booth's probably the biggest one they've got here. And then I asked them, and they're like, yeah, it's the biggest booth that's on the floor. So they had a lot of stuff there. They had like
It was a cool setup. They had Overwatch.
back Overwatch.
Yeah, like a competition for people to play. A fucking what's the motorbike series called? Fucking
Motocross.
Not the road racing. No, the
Mad
big
Max.
one. That's it. That's what I was thinking of. Mad Max. No, the fucking, the F1 of motorbikes.
I don't know.
G.
Gfinity.
Shut the fuck up. Anyway, that
Force.
wasn't G-force. Stop fucking saying G words. Gush or gust or something.
I think it was.
Anyway,
Ghost.
they had a competition. The person who had the best time on like playing that, they flew them to fucking Phillip Island or wherever the fuck the racing was on. Like you got a fucking trip to the racing.
Right.
Just you got flown away from PAX. Could you imagine? You went into PAX and then you were flown away to Phillip Island, some shit. That'd be sick.
You mean
That
like
was
the Moto Grand Prix.
Grand Prix. Starts with a G. You fuck.
Starts with an M.
Whatever.
Way off.
Obviously, like something motorbike related.
Starts with a G and ends
Involved
in
in
a
the
P.
name. Fuck.
Yeah.
Just unbelievably unhelpful. You are. Anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, no, the other interesting setup was, I think it was the HyperX booth, was across from, it was like NVIDIA or Corsair or something, or maybe they were joint, and they
Yeah.
were both like spruiking booths. You know those ones that are like, come get a t-shirt, and they're like
Yeah.
trying to sell their shit, and like, you say NVIDIA and I'll throw you a t-shirt. So they were directly across from each other.
Oh,
And so it was pretty funny because I think they just spent the whole weekend trying to see who could get the biggest like crowds, but they were also like engaging with each other, which is
All
really
right.
funny.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I don't know if anyone thought of that before they set these two guys up, but they worked well running off on each other.
All right.
Because otherwise, you just feel like it would just be two people yelling and just noise.
Yeah.
But they seem to have worked things out by midway through Friday, at least,
All right.
which is
Nice.
cool. Um, yeah, obviously all the big booths were there. Like Nintendo was there, super popular, huge booth. A Blizzard were there, showing off Diablo. I didn't even know they were there until I walked past. I was walking to an appointment, and the Blizzard guy was like, "Hey, how you going?" I'm like, "Hey, I gotta run," and then I came back and said hello later on. But yeah, they had
Nice.
like Smash Brothers there in Nintendo, Diablo stuff going on. There was the Microsoft booth there. Sony had their booth. I believe Battlefield was there, but it might have been at Xbox. I think it was.
Right.
So yeah, all the big
Yeah.
plays were there. It was busy. It was packed.
Yeah. Cool.
Ubisoft had a bunch of their games there. Division was playable. Sorry, Division 2 was playable. From what
Really?
it looked to me like the same demo at E3, but I
Okay.
heard that it
That makes
wasn't.
sense.
And also
Might
when
have been Gamescom instead. I don't know.
when I went past, they had a build number on there. It definitely wasn't the same build as E3 because it was like September or something it said on there.
Right. That'd no, that wouldn't align with.
Or maybe it was August.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. August did align with Gamescom, so
Yeah, it wasn't.
yeah.
I know it wasn't E3 because it was like past that date when I saw it when I was still setting it up.
Right.
So yeah, that was cool to be playable.
Cool.
Yeah, and there was like a Ubisoft store that they were selling merchandise at, and that must be where all the Rainbow Six T-shirts were coming from.
Ah.
So yeah, no, it was.
Nice.
I didn't go to any panels this year at all.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
was I don't even know what panels were on other than the trivia one because Rob was telling me about it. Apparently, I did a shoey at that panel. It was like Pete Hines. Pete Hines didn't do the shoey, but Pete Hines was there. Rob Whitaker, their community manager, one of the streamers, Camelworks, I think is his sorry YouTube name. Tim Willits was there. He was running around. Saw him a bunch. They had like Quake. They had a fucking Quake PC. I don't know if you saw this thing, but it was like the Quake logo. It was probably like 12 feet tall. This Quake logo, but it was actual PC. It had like a built, like a graphics card in there and CPU, and it was like running stuff. So, apparently Tim asked for it. He was like, "Can I take that?" And I'm like, "How would you get that anywhere? How would
Yeah.
what's the process of getting that thing apart? I don't. You'd have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was huge. Anyway,
On a shipping container.
yeah,
shipping
pretty
container.
much, yeah.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, like it was. I felt like it was a good PAX. There's a lot of cool things happening. Some cool games. Nothing that really blew me away, but again, that's probably because I just didn't play all of them, or
Yeah.
it wasn't my big focus. I worked on Friday, and that was my day. So
Cool.
I wasn't paid to be there to fucking play indie games. Indie games
Yep.
for this show.
Of course.
Yeah,
Cool.
that was my PAX.
Well, yeah, it sounds like I missed out. I am like gutted that I didn't go. I wish I had gone. I did have obviously a lot of fun staying at home, but yeah, like
Your liver might have appreciated it. I got home at 5:30 one night and 4:30 another. I think on the Saturday I got out of bed at 4 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
fucking
And
hell.
that's when I went down to PAX and was like, all right, I'll go check out the floor for a little while. And it was quieter at that stage.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it was good. There was a lot of stuff on each night, so kept myself busy. It wasn't like it was a quiet night. It was like an industry drinks on a Friday.
Yeah.
Everyone got to a bar and just went drinking, and then that place shut at 1 or 12, whatever it is, and and that's when you complain to all the Melbourne people that why do their bars shut at that
course.
time. So you go to the casino. Casino was pumping, man. Like, I ran into some of the PUBG players while I was there. A lot
Cool.
of the Chiefs players were playing at the Logitech booth. Logitech had like a circle set up with a bunch of computers, and you could jump in. They were doing like war mode, or maybe just normal as well. They were doing like bits and pieces of both.
Right.
So all the Chiefs players were playing there. And
Cool.
yeah, and so I went to the casino later on and ran into a bunch of other players. The team immunity guys were there, and so I was talking
Awesome.
to Nutshot and one
Yep.
of their players.
Cool.
Because Nutshot is still managing that team. He's not playing, but he's managing. So yeah,
Right.
who was on the panel last year with us, the PUBG panel.
He was. Yeah.
Yeah,
He was awesome.
yeah. So that was cool.
Cool.
A lot of people there for PAX at the casino. That area specifically, that like the bar we went to.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah, like we went out there and it's like this is a lot of fucking PAX people, and I was surprised they let me in because I had my PUBG bag on,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, "There's no way they're letting me in with a fucking bag on," but they didn't give a shit. I was like, "It's cool, you're spending money here, go nuts."
Yeah. Money's
Yeah.
money. We're a casino.
Yep,
Go on in.
it was good
Nice.
PAX. I thought it was good PAX. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Cool.
Cool catching up with everyone, networking. All right, so when we got back, I don't know about you, but I jumped in to play some Call of Duty Black Ops. I was craving for it.
I know about me, and I didn't.
You didn't?
Haven't touched it in a week.
Crazy,
Yeah.
crazy.
No.
So they've made changes to armor in there now.
Oh, have they?
Yep. There was a patch I think 2 days ago where they've basically made the damage. You take more damage when you've got armor now, and so the time to kill is definitely you can feel it.
Lower.
It's a lot quicker,
Yeah, right.
which is cool. It's cool that they're trying to balance that, and I think they changed the way that like shooting certain body parts works as well. So yeah, it definitely feels in the game like you've got to be a bit more careful. You can't just soak up bullets and be like, "Fuck you, I'm just going to heal behind this rock." All of a sudden, you're like, "Shit, I've taken a lot of damage and now I've got no armor left." So yeah, we played a bunch of games the last 2 days. It's been fun. A lot of second places.
Uh,
A lot of we got. I think we got one or two first places. We got one in duos. I know that. I'm not sure if we got one in squads, but we came close a couple times, which is disappointing. But what do you do? You weren't there to back me up.
I'm sorry. You have to deal with Gavin bringing his blood bowl skills to the table.
game. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, man, I'm still digging that game. It's like it's back to my fun game. Well, I'll go play that. And the games are popping. Like no issues getting games at all.
I've seen a bunch of the Chiefs PUBG guys still playing a fuck ton of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know they've made a bunch of changes to zombies still. Like, it seems like they're still playing with that. They're doing a Halloween event in there at the moment where it seems like it's similar to the Fortnite style. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't really digged into it too much, but the games that I've played, you're earning like experience in this fake book, and you get items from it. So things like gestures or stickers, cosmetic things, as far as I know. And I know there is like some sort of currency in there. I just don't know what that's used for, if it's specifically for skins. Because I did see some complaints about people would like that currency to be in the pack, that you like the free stuff. Like you get 150 coins for reaching level 15 or whatever. Because I know Fortnite does that as well. So you don't necessarily have to buy the currency to get unlocks. You can play the book and just do it that way. So it's cool that like it seems better than the way PUBG was doing it, because I just don't like the way like the rental system.
Yeah. Rentals are fucking bullshit. That is a garbage way to do it.
Yeah, it's like I've hit level 2, you get a beanie to rent for 6 days. It's dumb. It's so dumb.
Yeah. It's bullshit.
So yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see them doing something different or put something in there. I'm enjoying Black Ops still. It's fun, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the other two games we've been playing, you want to talk about them off the bat?
Yeah.
All the games we've tried to play?
We'll talk about the one we tried to play.
Fallout 76.
Fallout 76 is a fucking nightmare. What the fuck are they thinking? This thing is such a fucking train wreck. I cannot believe I jumped on the fucking subreddit to try to work out why the fuck you and I couldn't team up. Because me and Gerald couldn't team up yesterday,
Hmm.
and I am at a fucking loss as to what the fuck is going on.
Right. I've
But
seen
that
other people
doesn't, like,
complaining about it.
yeah, it's definitely a common fucking thread, like a common complaint. A lot of people are having trouble playing with their friends when the entire fucking game is about playing with your friends. So, yeah, I jumped on the subreddit. All I'm seeing is like, this is a beta. It's designed to work out problems. There's no fucking way you release a game in the state that they released. The fucking launch is fucked. Like, I don't understand how there's a bunch of games on this launcher, and it's fucked. It is fucked. Every single time I shut down my computer, the launcher like hard crashes and tries to take everything out with it. At some point, I downloaded 50 gigs worth of fucking Fallout 76, and it decided to download all of it again. Their advice on Twitter is if you see it attempt to download again, let it download all the way. That's 100 fucking gigabytes. Your tweet was fucking hilarious. Luke tweeted, was it
That's all right.
Rockstar
No,
Red Dead Redemption 2 is
it's Bethesda.
But there's Fallout 76 is 50 gigabytes. Rockstar Red Dead Redemption 2 is 89 gigabytes. Bethesda, hold my beer. So they make you download fucking 100 gigabytes.
Hold my
of
beer, I
fucking,
got this.
fucking. Yeah, so I had to download it twice. Luke's giving me shit. He's like, oh yeah, I'm such a goofball. Oh, I can't help but fucking delete all my fucking games. And then it happened to him as well. Suck shit, cunt. And then, like, it happened to everyone. It happened to everyone I know. It's fucking ridiculous. 100 games for that game, though. It looks like a fucking turd. It looks like every other one of their games. It doesn't look pretty. It looks decidedly ugly.
It looks better than their other games. They've changed the lighting a lot. It's the textures that look like shit. When you're up close to the concrete or anything like that, it's like, oh, that looks a bit fucking crap. But you'll be out in the environment, it's like, oh yeah, the foliage looks pretty and all that sort of stuff. Like, things start to blend in. It looks fine to a distance, and then you look at the ground, you're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, that's true. But I think you're meeting them more than halfway there. Like, it generally looks like shit. You focus on stuff that is in front of you, not stuff that's fucking in the background.
But maybe they just went to the point where everybody turns off all the graphics in multiplayer games anyway. We'll just fucking make
they're like, crap. Everyone's going to be, chugging out their frames. But
the 50 gig thing was, and just the way of them like explaining, all right, this is when the thing is going to go up, and then you'd launch the launcher, and it was like the countdown was wrong. And I think I have an inkling that fucking problem was because of that. Someone, their thing was like, oh, we set it to the wrong time or something like that, and eventually, I think that's what caused the issue, is that something's happened, and then like it's like check that the date is different. I don't know, and it's just fucked it up. So like everybody had to download this fucking 50 gigs again, and they're on Twitter being like, hey, if you launch the client, don't touch anything.
Yeah, don't click anything. Yeah.
It didn't matter. You launch it, and it just fucking did it. It was like deleted. It was like deleted. We'll start again.
Yeah.
And so yesterday,
what a mess.
The beta was 4 hours, and I didn't get to play at all because I was literally downloading for that 4 hours. I'm on a 100 megabit connection. It was going at 10 meg until 10. I think it started at 10 a.m. here.
Yeah.
And then at 10 o'clock, when everybody tried to fucking log in and all their shit got deleted, that's when the game was like, everybody's going to be downloading this now. So it dropped to about 5 meg a second, and then at one stage it was gone at about 1 meg. And so it literally took me like the whole 4 hours to download.
I got in at about 10:30 because at 9 o'clock I jumped on and opened up the launcher. I'm like, I'm going to make sure this is all ready to rock so I can play as soon as it launches. And then it deletes all my shit and starts over. I'm like, I see. So luckily I got in early enough to actually get full use of my fucking internet before every other motherfucker was attempting to download it. But it didn't matter because I can play with anyone else anyway.
Mm.
Yeah, because the friend system doesn't work. Bethesda's launcher doesn't have a fucking friend system in it,
Mm.
so it boggles the mind as to why the fuck they'd force you to use a fucking launching system that doesn't have any friends in it when it's a fucking social, like socially fucking focused game. But yeah, man, don't worry about it, just go for it. Anyway, so I finally get into the game. I'm playing on my own and like parallel to Gerald, who's playing at the same time. I knock my way through the vault quick as I can because I'm like, who gives a fuck? First time I create a character, game hard crashes, wipes all my progress. Second time I create a character, game hard crashes, wipes all my progress. Third time, it worked. So pretty good. Yeah, made my ID, took a photo of my crotch, which was probably the most amusement I've had from that entire game. And then, yeah, rolled out of the vault. It seems a lot like Fallout without any of the charm. Like, I don't know what I'm doing apart from wandering from place to place. Imagine if Fallout was entirely fetch quests. That's what it feels like to me. And not terribly interesting fetch quests.
Right.
Fetch quests, fetch quests also, all your weapons break a lot faster.
I didn't have any weapons break.
I've had like 2 now break. What level are you?
Level 5.5. I played about an hour.
Yeah, okay. Maybe not shooting as many things as me.
I'm shooting everything.
Or maybe I just have garbage weapons. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I've got a lot of weapons, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, there's like crafting stations around, and you can either repair them at that or just build new weapons. But I had fuckloads of weapons. Like I was worried about the ammo situation because I was punching things at the start.
Yeah, Gerald didn't have any ammo.
One stage, I killed a It was pretty close to, like, it was where I was supposed to go. The marker was like, "Hey, go here," and there was a boss or something. He had a crown in his head,
right?
And so I punched him to death, and he dropped like 6 guns, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
Cool.
And like 150 bullets, and then off I went. But the thing that I was doing in this demo that I didn't do the last time I played it, it was teaching me how to do like some of the crafting, boiling water and making food. Stuff that wasn't radiated, and setting up the camp. And then at one stage it threw me into an event which I hadn't done before, and it was me and like 5 people running around killing stuff and then going into this abandoned house and completing tasks in there. So that was kind of something different.
Okay, well that sounds more interesting than anything that's happened to me.
Yeah.
Wait, how has this shit missed me? Maybe it's RNG or something?
I don't know. Yeah.
I stopped doing the quests because I'm like, I don't give a fuck about any of this. Maybe I should be doing that.
Did you do the crafting, boiling water?
Yeah, I got to there and then I stopped.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh, I'm not wandering down this road to fucking find some chick I don't give a fuck about. She's clearly dead. Everyone knows she's dead.
I think it was one river. Yeah, because I found her, and then it was like to test the water and boil it. She had like a water treatment kit on her, and then you go back up, and then it's like go find this other dude, and I found him, and he was teaching you how to make steaks, and there's like a bunch of like double-headed cows at the back or some shit.
The Brahmin.
Yeah, and so you kill them, and you go make your steak. And then that's when the event kicked off. And there was 2 sort of not near me. It was like, you can go to these events, and I was like, oh, that's cool. But then one triggered.
All right, so maybe I have to continue. I just felt like I was making more XP not doing that shit.
Right.
Like just hunting around and killing dogs and ghouls and robots. I just felt like I was doing more interesting things that way.
Yeah.
But I guess you have to main path shit.
Yeah. Right.
So it's basically an MMO. It's basically a shitty MMO. Like,
it's Fallout with friends, right? If you can get your friends.
Yeah, except you can't play with friends, so it's, what do we call it? Fallout. Right. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Like,
if they can get all that shit together, then maybe
it will still be pretty dull.
Yeah, but at the same time, like the Fallout multiplayer experience that kind of we wanted out of it is not going to exist still. Like it's still going to be deathmatch.
Yeah.
PvP as opposed to going out and trying to hunt people.
Yeah.
Unless something really changes in that meta or they change the way it's designed, I don't see it happening that way.
I'll give it another couple of tries over the course of the weekend but I will not play it solo. I refuse to play it solo. I will like if we can get the friend system working. If they can sort their fucking shit out and get the friend system working, then I will play with others. But I will not play it solo. I have zero interest in playing that game on my own. I'm not just main part. Like fuck that shit. God. Oh,
Yeah.
there goes my
Especially if everybody else
turn
is you run into is playing it as a group, and all of a sudden, like, it's you versus four other people in a group, and yeah, I just don't see them balancing it that way.
No.
Or if there's any fucking matchmaking at all, or like how that'll work.
Don't know.
We'll see.
Yep.
Yeah,
Alright,
not a
cool.
great experience. Like I think the like something about the keyboard layout is not great either. It just seems weird the way they've got to set it up.
Why is escape tab? Is this their first time making a fucking like? You know, there's an escape key on the fucking keyboard, motherfuckers. Right? Why do I go back with the tab key?
Yeah.
That's fucking high. Fuck that shit. It's so annoying. Holy shit. Everything else, yeah. Every time I press tab to bring up my inventory, if you hold it for like even a third of a second, it immediately turns on your light instead. And so I'm sitting there like fucking flashing like a fucking disco. Like, blink, 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 blink. And I'm like, just fucking open up the fucking inventory. Oh my God. Meanwhile, there's a dog like running at me like maybe I'm killing it with fucking epilepsy instead of fucking like the gun that I'm trying to access.
Yeah.
I can't work out how to like equip more than one gun either. I don't know.
It's the same as
beyond me.
Fallout. You go to the menu, the weapons menu, you start favoriting things.
Favoriting, that's what it is. I'd forgotten. Anyway, it sucks.
And then there's like a weapon wheel that you bring up, which I think is new. I don't remember it being in the other games. And then you just kind of select it through there. So it's like, oh, this one's my fucking knuckle busters. I was running around punching dogs.
Nice.
And then I found a baseball bat with barbed wire on it, and then I was using that. But then I found a rifle with 150 bullets and like 6 other guns. So I was like, fucking sweet, I'm good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I feel like I need to play more of that on PC alone to sort of get an idea of like what it's like playing by yourself, and sort of how that evolves in terms of the other people being around you at the same time.
All right,
They,
well, you can play on your own and then just carry me through other shit when we play together.
Yeah. They extended the beta today an extra 4 hours because I guess the majority of people couldn't get in on that first day. And also because it's sort of like a paid beta, right? The people that are getting in are the ones that have pre-ordered the game.
Pre-ordered, yeah.
So you don't want to fucking upset them.
Yep. Sure.
But yeah, the times they've got at this beta at the moment are all in the morning, I think, for us. Like today's kicked off at 5 a.m. and ran till, is it 2? Something like that?
Yeah. 2.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yep.
not a great start to a game that's supposed to be out in 2 weeks, 14 days, something like that.
Oh, have you seen all the names that you see of people in game?
Yeah.
It's their Bethesda.net
Logins. Yeah.
account name.
Yeah, that's not good.
Are they fucking nuts? What the fuck? That's crazy. Because that's how their fucking friend system works. Is based on your account name as opposed to. So why do you create a character name? What's the point of that?
I don't know. The other issue with that is like people now trying to log into your account, right?
Yeah, exactly. They can like they just have to fucking guess a fucking password now.
Yeah, and what I'm
Fucking
going to
hell.
get emails constantly because
Yeah,
there's some bot just stealing people's
it's not,
names.
there's no like 2-factor authentication either. So yeah, it's asking for trouble. I cannot believe they did this.
Yeah.
Holy shit, they've fucked this up so hardcore. Like, and this, yeah, like I said before, this is not like, oh, it's a beta, they'll fix things. That's not what this is. This is like, just who the fuck is running things behind the scenes here? Because they're clearly like half-assing it. Just garbage shit. Anyway, Um,
Red Dead.
Red Dead.
You can talk about this
Uh,
week.
yeah, I'll talk about it. Okay. So this unlocked for me at 10 p.m. I wasn't like set. I didn't set my PlayStation in New Zealand time or anything. I was just like sitting there at my PlayStation, and it ticks over to 10 p.m. I'm like, fuck it, let's see if it works,
Right.
and it did.
Maybe it was a.
And
Did you have a countdown saying it'll be ready in blah
no,
blah? Just yeah, right. Maybe they just unlocked it globally at that
yeah,
time. Fair
maybe
enough.
it didn't like it. It wasn't like locked and then unlocked either. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Rockstar gave me a code that auto worked or something. Usually,
And you were sitting there for 2 days, being like, "Lol, lol, lol, lol."
no, I only got it. I only got it that day actually, like 4 hours prior. It actually, I basically just finished downloading it because it is 90 gigabytes. I just finished downloading it when it's like got to, I think it was like 9:50 when I finished downloading it.
Yep.
And so I was playing, actually, I was playing the Spider Man DLC up until 10 o'clock. And I was like periodically jumping in and out to check if the download had finished.
Right. Do you play as Black Cat in that DLC or not?
Not as far as I can tell.
Oh, right.
You're only playing as Spider Man, the extent to which I played it. But I only did the first mission. I didn't do the second one yet. So
Right. I thought
maybe
you
you
did.
two in the heist or something. I don't know. But yeah. So Red Dead. Yeah, played it. Knocked out the first chapter in about 80 minutes, which is good. It's what I wanted to have happen.
That's the
I didn't
tutorial
want to
area.
spend too much. Yeah, it's none of it really impacts like anything beyond that initial part. You can't really free roam or anything like that. So I wanted to get to um, Valentine and the Horseshoe Overlook as fast as humanly possible. And then yeah, I got to do whatever the fuck I wanted. And I guess I'd done whatever the fuck I wanted in my previous preview session, the only one in Australia. But yeah, I guess this was free as still, you know, things mattered now. So I if I didn't want to impact my game worlds, I had to, you know, be careful with who I was shooting and who I was robbing and what I was doing and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was. It's all I've done for the last week. Like I have been waking up. I've been dreaming about Red Dead, not like cowboy shit. Red Dead, and I wake up at like fucking 6:30, and I'll get up and I will play Red Dead
Hmm.
because you know I still got to do work
Yeah.
during the day. So I have been like for the 2.5 hours prior to 9 o'clock, I've just been playing Red Dead, and then I will do work, and at lunchtime I will play Red Dead, and then I will do some work
Yep.
until about 3 o'clock when I will knock off and I'll play Red Dead until my wife gets home, and we will have dinner, and then I'll play more Red Dead. And that is all I've been doing for the last fucking week.
So you finished it then? Because last week you told me you'd be done by the time I got back. Like you finished it before me, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I totally
How's
finished
that
it.
going?
No, I am at chapter 4. I have no idea how many chapters there are, but I feel like I'm in the tail end of the game. I feel like if it is like a mountain, I feel like I am on uh, the the downward slope. I guess. Yeah. I've got no fucking idea to be honest. Yeah, chapter 4, and if it takes as long as the last ones, I'm gonna maybe finish by the time Battlefield 5 comes out.
When's
Maybe
that?
November 12th.
Yeah, you'll finish before
Okay. Maybe.
that. Sure. Fucking 10 days.
Do you know what I did for 2 hours last night, Luke?
What'd you do for 2 hours last night?
Well, I hunted. I hunted animals.
Right.
I did have a plan, and then I was like, you know what? If I just went and got my bear suit finished, then I could finally focus and do other shit. So I needed 2 perfect rabbit pelts. I needed a a perfect bison belt. Pelt,
Yeah.
and I need a perfect bull belt pelt. So I went and hunted rabbits. One perfect boar pelt as well. I hunted the boar. Found the bison. It was very difficult. Still haven't found the bull, and I've been traipsing all
The
over trying to
wool.
find a fucking a bull.
A
A
bull.
bull. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
If I see one in like a farm, I'm just gonna walk up and stab it in the throat.
I feel like that's
Like
the only places I've seen one.
I can't. I'm pretty sure I've seen one in a similar place. I just cannot remember where. I've seen lots of cows. I got a fuck ton of perfect cow pelts. They were not crazy about me murdering cows in their
In their
barn,
paddock.
but they weren't quick enough to stop me. And I was wearing my scary cat skull mask. I've got a bunch of masks. So many fucking terrifying masks.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I was wearing my mask, so they could, and I was wearing most of my bear outfit, and so this game is fucking ridiculous, man. Like the shit that it does is fucking ridiculous. Um, if I'd been wearing my regular clothes and not wearing a mask, they would have been like, "That's Arthur Morgan. He's up to no good. He's the one who's stabbing all our cows and like peeling their skin off while we stand there like yelling at the sheriff to stop him."
Hmm.
But because I had different clothes on, because I had a different horse, because my stupid horse died. Yeah, they didn't know it was me.
Yeah. Yeah, I've
So
read that that's how fucking complex it gets. You need to
it's
like wear
fucking
different
insane.
clothes and like use different guns and a different horse. Otherwise
I
they
didn't,
start to know who you are.
the gun thing didn't seem to matter too much, but yeah, the horse, yeah, that's fucking crazy. Yeah, so they didn't know it was me, and I managed to get away, and
Yeah.
I stole some goats from a pen as well, some perfect goat pelts a bit later, so that was pretty good.
Hmm.
Made out like a bandit. But yeah, that was 2 hours. Didn't make any in-game progress. What else have I done? Went traipsing all over the roofs of Saint Denis. Instead of, I was supposed to go see a dude about like some strange mission. I was supposed to go do it, and then I saw I could climb a ladder,
Oh yeah.
and then I spent 2 hours climbing all over the roofs of the only city in the game, as far as I can
I
tell.
don't think there's anything up there.
There is not,
I've tried
but you can
looking.
jump on stuff. I was like, I'd jump on a tram, or I'd call my horse over to me, and I'd jump off the roof and onto my horse, all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Just dumb shit, super dumb shit. But yeah, like you can do it. Obviously, we went hunting for a vampire. That was actually pretty irresponsible of me because I did that during a time when I was supposed to be working. But it didn't matter. I got away with it. I just had to work a bit later,
Yeah,
and
right.
it tuned in some other Red Dead time. Just
Did
had
you
to
want to talk
reschedule.
about that? How that
Yeah,
came
yeah,
about?
it was fucking amazing. Luke hits me up, or hits up me and Nate in our Facebook, and he's like, "Look at this picture," and it's like writing scrawled on a wall. Writing scrawled in a book. Right? That's the crazy thing. For some reason, why are you hedging shit? Why are you like not showing us the full details? You're like, "Oh yeah, look at this," and I'm like, some weird writing, and yeah, I found it on a wall, and then you wouldn't show us the fucking wall, so I had to go find the fucking thing myself, and like you're like, yeah, it's got a map up in the top like corner, and I'm like using the map, I'm like, yeah, it's here, this is where it is on the map. I'm like, I solved this shit. I know where it is. I'm going straight to it, and I run over there, and like he does it, and he draws the fucking map. I'm like, that's a map of the location of where he found it, for fuck's sake. Luke knew this, and I've been hunting where to go the whole fucking time.
No.
But he refuses to fucking let me in on anything.
I
You're
just
fucking
meant, do
hedging
you
your bets
understand
and
what
shit.
any of this fucking random words mean? Or
So-
like any idea? Because I think it was on Monday night. I don't remember when I sent it to you. Monday or Tuesday night.
Yeah, it was a while ago, because the first one I had was so far back in my journal.
Yeah, same with me. And it happened to be because I was on a mission near that, and
Yeah.
I'd accidentally seen it or walked past like the butcher that's there or the general store, and I saw it. I was like, "What's that?" Went up, and
Yeah.
it came out, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Started reading it, and it was like the Ring of Blood or something. I'm like, "What the?" I'm like, "Show,
Yeah.
do you guys know what the fuck this means?" I found this on a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
like,
we dug in, like I dug into it, and like I think we haven't finished it. I'm going to be honest. I think we haven't finished that puzzle. I think there's more to it because there's still elements that don't make sense to me. Five's bones. He writes it down incorrectly. He transcribes it incorrectly off the wall.
yeah,
He writes Five's bones,
instead of five bodies.
but it's five bodies is what it actually writes. And like, yeah, so there's that, and there's other transcription errors throughout the fucking like the whole fucking mission. But there's also the idea of there being six before the beast will be sated, and that didn't play into it at all. Like I could not see any element where six played into it, and it doesn't make sense to me. And there's you found a you have another video, right? Where you found something
Yeah.
before anyone else in the world. There's another stage to that. Did you know that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I obviously I didn't. Junglist was telling me, like he found another stage to that puzzle.
Yeah.
I think there's always another, like not always, but there's a lot of extra steps that
Yeah,
you
right.
can go through.
Yeah, so
I think,
that one in particular, there was two lines in that. It's basically there's a bunch of there are shacks like all throughout the world, and some of them are fucking super weird, and they'll have like strange stories behind them. And this
Yeah.
one in particular had this note in there, and there were two lines in there that really stood out to me. The first line, which talked about like a time, the time of day, and
at the half moon after two,
yeah, and then
like
it
in the
started
morning or something.
dribbling on about all this bullshit. And
Yeah.
anyway, I ended up solving that one. And further down below, it talks about a place. And
Yeah.
I'd not
Discovered it.
no, because it's on the west side of the
Yeah.
map, and at that stage of the game, like 60, 80 hours in, most of the stuff you do, majority of it is on the east side. You go to Strawberry a bit
Yeah.
early on, but you don't venture up into that area. So I
Yeah.
haven't found that, but because I'd actually looked it up, like on the map, and I was like, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a place because there were a couple of mounts already on there,
Yeah.
but I hadn't gone to that bit yet. And
Yeah.
once I got back and started exploring a bit more, I'd found it and went up there, and there's some shit up there that you can find.
So yeah, I think there might be a second part to
To the one we did,
yeah.
yeah,
But anyway, nevertheless, so we went like you had to find these five markings on the wall, and it wound up drawing a map. Luke found all the markings. Luke did all the heavy lifting. I was sitting there like deciphering these riddles that didn't really wind up playing into it, which is why I'm certain that like there must be something more because they are written as riddles.
yeah, right.
Um,
So do you know
So,
how I
yeah.
found that second one?
No.
I think I told you. I was so the first one you found on like the Monday or Tuesday. It was just some
Yeah.
random shit. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then the second one, I got a stagecoach from the east side of the map. I think I was in Blackwater, and I
Yep.
got it back down to Saint Denis, and I was sort of just going around all the shops and buying the stuff that they've got because they'll be local. Like you go to this place, it's like they got a local garb or like a local clothing, and the stagecoach dropped me off in this corner, and the gun shop was up here, and I was like, I'll just fucking run. There's no point getting my horse in there, and so I run down the alleyway. And I get to the corner of another one, and I see something flash up on my screen. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then I turn around, and there was like another one of those notes. I'm like, holy shit, this is the second one. This is like a thing. And so I sent you guys that message. I'm like, there's got to be more around here. And that's when
Yeah.
I found the third one, like super close to the one we just found. And it was literally in like the same area. And I was like, there's a third one now. And I was like, this is definitely going somewhere. Like, because it was saving each time the game was saving progress, auto saving. So I knew it was doing something. Because
Yeah.
it wouldn't make any sense. It was just updating the journal and being like, oh, whatever. Yeah, and eventually it just led to me literally fucking running around each block looking for these inscriptions on the wall like covering all of the corners. So from here, I found the two. I started going south. Like I went in the complete opposite direction of where I was supposed to be going.
Yeah.
Um, I think I searched every single block in that in Saint Denis. It took me fucking ages, and I eventually found all of them. And at one stage, I'm like, I messaged you. I'm like, you have to come help because I don't know where there's like, there's got to be more. I'm
Yeah.
like, because it's done something, and I don't know what the fuck is going on. I think it.
Yeah. So was it a bug or something? I don't know. I don't know
I can't
what
remember if it was
happened
a
there.
bug or if I found it and then fucked it up.
No, no, you can't have found it.
Yeah, I think it fucked
You
up.
can't have found it. Yeah, because there's no way that map that it drew a map that has no correlation to any fucking set of buildings in the game,
Yeah,
which is really weird to me. Like, there's a lot of weird shit. Like, there doesn't seem like there'd be a reason for them to have an asset in the game, right? That's what's throwing me.
hmm.
Why would that asset exist in the game when it doesn't actually relate to anything in the game?
Yeah. I just think
Maybe
he's just a shit drawer. That's just what I put it down to. He just can't draw for shit.
he is a shit transcriber.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, we follow that one, and yeah, I joined the hunt at this point. You found the fifth one. Uh, we both had the same map. We were coordinating. We were sitting on Discord. I was on my phone on Discord, so I could sit on the fucking PlayStation at the same time. Yeah,
It draws this map on like the church, and I'm like, it's at the church, and I'm like fucking bashing the door in the church. I'm got
yeah. So was I.
there's like a crypt on each side. There's a gravestones. There's like a dude standing near some of the walls. At one stage, I get to the church and there's like a stranger mission happening. I'm like, this is fucking it. Like it's going. Like some dude's getting robbed and he's
Yep.
got a lady with him. She's like he's the vampire, and like I murder the dude that's trying to rob them, and then they're like, "Oh, thank you very much," and then they start walking off together, and I'm fucking following them because like the lady's out in front and the guy is behind them, and they're just walking along. I'm like, "Oh, she's gonna cop it. Like she'll be taken down some alley, and he'll turn into a vampire or something." No, eventually like 2 minutes goes past and they start fucking sprinting. I'm like, they're running away from me. What's going on? And yeah, they just left. I was like, this is not right. This doesn't seem like it's it. I don't know what's going on. And I'm
So
like, is it happening to you?
yeah, so that never happened to me, and I'm like wandering around the church, doing all the same things, bashing into the doors, like inspecting everything. I'm like, oh, church service is at 8 a.m. We'll have to wait till 8 a.m.
Yeah. So I'm like waiting till 8 a.m. I'm like, there's a
Yeah.
dude coming. He's here. He's here to the door. And then he gets in like I'm bashing on the door, and he's like trespassing, witness found or whatever. And so he
Yeah.
goes and calls the cops because I'm like trying to break into this fucking church. So that wasn't it.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, it's like the night, like a full day had passed at this point, sitting here at this church. Nothing's happened. I'm like, I don't know. There's got to be something else. So I re-investigated the map, and I noticed that the only part that was actually center to the pentagram, the half-mast pentagram, was the street. And so I'm like, let's go investigate the street itself. And yeah, I was looking at everything I could, and on the mini map, I saw an X, which indicates a dead body
Yeah.
and someone you can loot, basically. I'm like, fuck! I didn't kill anyone. I go over, and that's it. The cutscene. We found the vampire. Luke did all the hard work, and I got to find it. Yeah, which was pretty good. But yeah, it was awesome. Like, it's just that is, to me, the beauty of this game is that level, that insane amount of detail for things that people will never see.
Yeah.
For things so many people will never ever see. Like double tap L1 to put away a gun, and he'll do like fucking gun
Fancy.
tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's gonna see that. I did it by accident. That's how I found it. Is
Yeah.
by doing it by accident. Like, but they had it in there. They have it in there for you to do that kind of shit, or like all the food stuff, like, you know, eating different kinds of foods, the different levels of drunk you can get, like all this kind of stuff that has no tangible impact on the game experience itself, except to further drag you in and like keep you in the game and
Yeah.
keep you wondering what crazy thing you're going to see next.
Yeah.
It's staggering, you know, the way I was wondering, like riding, trying to find bison yesterday, because there is a mission early on where you hunt bison.
Mhm.
I just couldn't, like, I knew it was in the heartlands somewhere. I just couldn't remember exactly where the fuck it was. So I'm like combing these fucking heartlands trying to find these giant cows. And like I ride past like a herd of horses, and like one of them's on the like lying on the ground, and like I pop out my binoculars to see what's going on. I'm like, oh, is it like, did it die or something? But no, it's just like rolling around on the ground, scratching its own back and shit. Like it's acting like a horse, independent of me doing anything. Like they made it be more horse-like and stuff like that. Or like I came across a pack of wolves that had killed a boar, and like they literally just killed the boar, and instead of like there was a bunch of boars there, instead of chasing down the other boars, they all stopped and went and ate that one. Like they went fed on that one boar until I shot them with my shotgun because they apparently want to eat me as well. Like yeah, this attention to detail, but it's not like general detail. These are details that nobody would generally care about. If the horses didn't act like horses, I don't think it would matter. If they all just sort of stood and walked around like horses, that'd be fine with me. But like, rolling around to scratch themselves, or two bucks having a fucking head smash and getting their like antlers tangled together, like stuff like that, or like being able to shoot fish in the water with your gun, or with a bow, or with a throwing axe, or with a fucking dynamite. Like the fact that you can kill, they're things. It's not like they exist at all times. This stuff happens at all times, and like it's a world for you to exist in, and I am staggered by it. Like the way you can burn a house down, or like people will remember interacting with you.
Oh yeah.
Or
have you seen the guys that get bitten by the snake?
Yeah.
And then like he shows up in town. I talked about this last week. How like
you did.
That they're one of the things like I keep seeing
you
this.
See a bit too much of.
But
yeah, I agree.
I had one instance yesterday where I ran into a guy, and it was one of the same guys again, who had been bitten before, and he commented on that. He's like, "You've been bitten again," like type of thing.
Yeah, I had a dude this morning, and he's like, "Oh my god, it's you again! I've been bitten again. You gotta suck it out again." And Arthur's like, "I can't believe I'm doing this again." And yeah, he's like, "Yeah, this is the last time I'm doing this." Yeah, like it's just or like a fence, like the fence in Saint Denis. I tried to rob him.
Yeah.
And no, I did try to rob him so I could get him to open up his back room, but I couldn't get it, so I saved him.
Yeah, it's part of a mission.
It is. I have done that mission. No, I was like running in to buy a trinket from the fence, and I ran in and I like basically bowled someone over before I got in there, and I was buying, and then this dude like walked in and punched me.
Right.
And so I ended him, and I must have gone a bit too far, because the fence like was like, "Oh my god," and he was like running away as a witness to a murder, and I'm like, "Ah, fuck, I can't let this." So I lassoed him before he got out of his store, and then I like dragged him back, and he didn't like. I couldn't intimidate him as a witness. He didn't want to be intimidated, so I had to beat the fuck out of him to stop him from saying anything. It took like fucking 4 or 5 hits before he was like, "Okay, I won't say anything." I'm like, "Cool." Now well, first, the next time I went back to the fence in Saint Denis, I don't really go to the fence all that much. Next time I went back, he was bandaged and
Yeah.
bloodied and bruised and shit.
Yeah.
And then the time after that, he's like, "I'll sell to you, but don't loiter. I'll actually call the cops this time." I'm like,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Like he remembers being a witness.
Mm.
It's not that like, yeah, that's fucking staggering to me. It's not that he remembers me. He remembers being a witness to a crime by me and the results of that. Like that's fucking bananas. That's out of control. That's crazy to me. And yeah, there's all that stuff. That's why I'm not playing the fucking story because I keep like trying to find the next crazy fucking thing. I found a fucking Viking axe, which I was pretty proud of. I was looking at I was looking up to see if anyone else had found the vampire yesterday, and I found out that there's a helmet that I somehow missed.
Right.
Near the axe that I didn't fucking pick up, but I got the axe, so who gives a fuck? I'm not gonna wear a fucking helmet. Yeah, I found another this other weird hatchet as well. I still haven't found the hatchet that we unlocked in GTA 5. I have no idea where the fuck that is.
You're supposed to just get it, I thought.
No, that definitely hasn't happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'm hunting legendary animals, doing legendary fishing, like regular fishing.
Have you done the fishing legendary fish? That's a fucking pain in the ass.
Easy.
Oh, it must have been the one I did. The mission was fucked. It took me like 10 minutes. My hands were destroyed.
There's a bit of a trick to it.
What's that?
When you press down on the thumbstick and then pull back again, he yanks them.
Yeah, and then you start reeling again.
But you make like a good 5 meters. If you just do that over and over, you will yank them basically most of the way. You just do that, when they're struggling, and they don't make any, they don't go away at all.
Yeah, that's a tooltip. If you pull it up, then but
you have to.
You can
so it says to pull up, but you have to push it down first to actually get a bunch of fucking distance out of it. So if you push down and then pull up, it'll actually fully yank. If you just pull up, you'll just jerk it a bit, and you won't get much distance out of it. If you do that, fishing's not that hard. There's still a lot harder.
I think it's just this fucking fish. It was huge. It was massive.
That's how I lost my horse. Is
from a fish.
Caught there's a legendary fish just outside of Saint Denis, and to fish for it, either you have to be on a boat or you can do like I did and stand on the railway tracks and fish for it. And I caught the fish literally as a train was coming around, and my horse, which I had parked off the train tracks, helpfully wandered up to come help me not have to carry this fucking giant fish. So it walks down the train tracks. I'm like, no, go back. And I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do? Because my choices at that point were lose my horse or lose this fish. And I think if you lose the fish, it's gone. I don't think you get back. So I'm like,
seahorse.
But I love my horse. So what I was trying to do was put the fish on the horse and then get on the horse and then ride away. But sadly, it did not manage. Otherwise, if the horse hadn't been on the tracks, I would have just jumped off the fucking tracks into the water with the fish and seen what happened.
Right.
But yeah, so I lost Diana, my favorite horse. I'm now.
Are you naming your horses after superheroes?
No. My wife is naming my horses after superheroes. Although Daryl, I think Daryl is either named after Daryl Strawberry, the baseball player, or after Daryl from The Office.
Right.
But neither is a particularly great choice because he is a extremely black horse, and it feels like she went somewhere pretty racist when she was naming Daryl.
Right.
He's a great horse though. He's fucking amazing. He's better than Diana was. He shreds, eh? He's super fast. So I'm very proud of Daryl. I'm not full bonded yet, but I'm getting up there. Yeah, the fucking horse bonding, and every time you do it, he's like, you're a good boy. And he's like really nice to the horse, and you feed it shit, and you're like, you get attached. I get attached because he's attached. He seems super attached to the
Yep.
horse and shit. Um, yeah, and yeah, it is the like I guess the first portion of the game, I was sitting there, I'm like, fuck, I don't like having to ride from place to place. This is driving me a bit bonkers. Like I'm getting a bit grumpy having to like fucking
Sure.
I'm riding from Valentine all the way to Emerald Ranch and back again, and it's feeling a bit fetch questy and blah 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 blah. But now I relish those rides. I feel like you just have to get over this hump. Like you can fast travel,
Hmm.
you can like take a coach as long as you don't have a bounty on you. You
Yeah.
can take a coach somewhere, or you can hop a train, or if you spend enough money, you can unlock the fast travel. But it's only one way in your camp. It's still better. Like it's still faster than riding the entire way across the map yourself. If you're in fucking Saint Denis and you need to get to fucking Strawberry, then you're best off fast traveling.
Yeah. And
Um,
I would recommend that if you feel like doing it, like don't hoard your money
yeah,
because like spend it. There's no point
yeah,
hoarding it. There's nothing you use it for other than buying shit and bounties. Uh,
mm,
in my game at the moment, I've got like $24,000. Like
right,
you get a shitload of money. Don't be
yeah,
afraid to use it, especially if you start getting towards the end of the game. I feel like definitely
yeah.
use it at that stage.
Well,
Um,
yeah, I had to use it to buy $1,000 fucking horse, so yeah, I have chunked through my cash quite well, but yeah, it's like you can use that to like the stagecoach from fucking um Saint Denis to Strawberry seems fucking expensive at the start of the game because it's like $25. You're like, fuck, that's pretty hefty. But where I'm at, I've still got like
oh yeah,
1600 $25. Fuck it,
it's nothing.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's go. Yeah, it's yeah. You just it did feel like it didn't respect your time, and now it feels like it makes sense. Like I get why they did it now. Like I understand it now. I still think it could be a bit better. Like there's certain things that still drive me bananas, like very slowly opening up drawers in houses that I'm looting, or when I'm is it selling shit to my butcher, to the
Yeah.
butcher at the camp. You're like you do it like one at a time, and it's like a a full second press every time you sell something. You're like, just fucking chop with this
Which is
shit.
weird because at some people you sell it, all you have to do is press X and it sells
Tap
it.
tap tap.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and other people it's like you gotta hold it.
yeah. It's very annoying. But like those are just minor annoyances. They don't really impact anything.
Yeah,
Like
that's like
they
I
just
said
look
last
like
week.
this could be a little bit better, but I still wouldn't trade it. It's such a fucking amazing spectacle of a game. There's always something new to see and do, and you're always like you're creating your own goals constantly. You it captures that perfect fucking balance between like uh encouraging you to do story missions while also forcing you to analyze your own priorities. You know, eat food, drink something, feed your horse, like maybe hunt so that you can bring something back to the camp. Then you got to do a mission, like loot those dead bodies. Oh, now you got ambushed. Oh, here's a Ku Klux Klan fucking rally. Now you got to go murder all of them, obviously,
Yeah.
and dump them in a fire. Yeah, like you just like that cascading thing that I always talk about. That one thing that I love about video games when they give you the freedom to decide what you want to do, how you want to do it, and then they empower you to go and do it.
Sure.
The story is amazing as well. The characters are fantastic. Arthur Morgan's a fucking dude. He's the best. Dutch is there's something weird going on with Dutch at my point in the story. I won't talk too much about the story, but I am enthralled with how they're telling this story and with how Dutch to me seems like this. He seems like a better cult leader than fucking Far Cry 5's cult.
Yeah.
Like I could see people following Dutch Vanderland. He is charismatic, and he is, he has this strength of conviction about him. Whereas in Far Cry 5, it sort of felt like pantomime, like he was saying the right words, but he was just going through the motions of
Mm.
being Dutch. Dutch believes everything he says, or if he doesn't, he's a damn good actor
Yeah.
pretending he does,
Well, that's why I
And
said it last week, right? Is that I think that, like, aside from Arthur and John, like, his performance is
yeah,
really fucking good because, like, it makes you believe that this dude is a leader and he knows
yeah,
and
exactly.
like the arc that it builds up of, like, going from nothing to everything and then
Yeah,
whatever happens from there. It's a really cool way to tell it. Like, ultimately we know where he ends up
yeah,
in like Red Dead, right? Because this is
yeah,
obviously a prequel, but
yeah,
seeing that, like, how where these characters came from, not only that, but like starting off with this fucking gang who is 20, 25 people deep, and then interacting with these people and watching people like get killed or turn on you and things like that. It's just really interesting
yeah,
because you were talking about like the Lenny mission,
yeah.
and how that works, and just like sort of how those relationships sort of pan out throughout the
The Lenny
story.
mission, for anyone who hasn't played the game, because it's quite early on,
Yeah.
but you go to a bar with Lenny and you guys get drunk,
You
and
drunk.
it's
That's the mission.
spectacular. It is such a
It's
fucking
such a
amazing.
Red Dead. Such a sorry, a Rockstar mission.
Yeah, it is, but it's executed perfectly. It is a brilliant mission. I loved it. Yeah, like yeah, that mission, and like you see the relationships. I spend so much time wandering around the camp talking to people, not because it doesn't tick. It doesn't, as far as I can tell, it doesn't tick over and make your relationship with the camp stronger or improve morale. There's no like tangible benefit, but I want to know how these people are going because you learn more about the world every time you talk to them, and you learn more about other people in the
Sure.
camp every time you talk about them.
Yeah.
I spent like fucking ages terrified for what's her name, Molly O'Shea or something. So she came up to talk to me about something, and she got interrupted, and we had to go do some other mission. Um, and I was like, I didn't see her for a while after that. I'm like, I think she's been murdered. Like I'm terrified that she's been killed, and she doesn't, it doesn't seem like she deserves that. Like other characters as well, like Mary Linton, is it like your old flame? And like there's all kinds of stuff, all relationship building going on there, and then you go and you dig a bit further, and you can read Arthur's journal,
Mm.
and the shit he writes is depressing. It's like this is a dude who is given up hope. He's like, this I am a killer. Like he says it actually a bunch of times. He'll talk to the people in the camp, and they'll be like, what's on your mind, Arthur?" And he'll like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I go on killing sprees. I kill innocent people. I just do it. I don't know why I do it. He talks about it a lot. Like he is a man who has recognized that his place in the world is done for. The day of the outlaw is over, and Arthur recognizes it, and he seems convinced that he can't fit into a world where like he is an outlaw, and that's all he is, and he doesn't think he has an option, and he says that a lot in his journal, and I think it's really well written, like, and it's like you said, like fucking spectacularly acted, and
Hmm.
like yeah, it just there's this melancholy that contrasts with everything. It sort of reminds me of like those times when like you are able to turn shit around for yourself, by distracting yourself. You know, like uh, you're keeping shit 100 because you managed to have enough distractions to stay there. And then when the distractions go away and it's just you, like you are just super low. Like that's not how I feel all the time. By the way, anyone who's concerned, but like yeah, it does happen. You know, like, and that's Arthur's place in this world is one of like confusion. He doesn't know how he exists moving forward, and he's scared for his family, and like the gang is his family, and yeah, all that kind of stuff. I think it's fucking brilliant.
Right.
I've seen some complaints about it on Twitter. I think I was raging at you on Facebook, but I've seen some complaints. People being like, "Oh, you know, Rockstar always do this. You know, this. Oh, it's so sad to be a man stuff." But that's so fucking dismissive. That's so fucking like fuck that shit.
I didn't
Like
write that. Oh,
no,
you were
no.
complaining. Yeah, sorry.
I was complaining about other people saying this. Like yeah, it's so fucking dismissive. The way people, I think they've created a character who represents that concept really fucking well. And like anyone writing it off because it's a Rockstar game, because it's a GTA game or whatever the fuck, I think they fucked. Like they're poisonous. They're toxic to games. That is an attitude that will hold us back for the rest of eternity. If the only games that are allowed to have like attempt some sort of fucking deeper meaning are anything not AAA, then we'll never get to a point where games are recognized universally by everyone. What we need are people who, you know, we need the rock stars to, and you know, fucking Assassin's Creed, you know, making it universal, who everyone can fuck in Odyssey, right? Like that sort of shit is what we need. Nobody complained about it in Odyssey. Why would you complain about taking on the, you know, depression in a fucking Rockstar game? Why would that be a fucking bad thing? That's insane to me. Actually, speaking of complaints, another thing, my brother hit me up and he's like, I think I hate Red Dead. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Don't talk to me anymore. And he's like, no, seriously, I can't do anything in this game without like getting a fucking bounty on my head. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? How, like, the only time I get a bounty on my head is generally when I accidentally shoot someone in the brain in the middle of town. That's the only time I get a bounty on my head. Otherwise, it's very easy. Shoot the witness in the back of the brain and ride the fuck away. Like, don a mask, quick as you can. Hold L1, switch your mask, put the mask on, whip out the gun, dead eye, back of the brain, easy peasy. No more witness.
Or just shoot them. Like, I think a lot of people are being confused about that system. Like, sometimes you'll be investigated, but they may not know who it is. Like, it'll pop up, but they don't know it's you. Underneath, it'll tell you whether or not they know who it is.
They'll say, suspect unknown, or it'll say Arthur Morgan.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are being confused by that, being like, oh, it's every time I do something, something happens. Like, no, only if the police come and they know, then they can tell who that person is, or if there's a witness or something, then you'll get a bounty on your head.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you'll get away with it.
Yeah, 100%. And it turned out the real problem he had was that he was like blasting his way through the streets of Valentine at 100 fucking kilometers an hour on his horse, and he'd murder someone, like vehicular manslaughter shit, and they'd be like, "Can't do that, bounty time," and he's like, "Yeah, but that's how you play GTA." I'm like, "But it's not GTA. Just fucking stop playing like GTA. It's pretty easy. Like, you can get this. Just play the game like everything has weight. There's a patience that you need in this game, but it pays off immensely." I don't know. We're definitely doing a spoiler cast. There's so much I want to talk about.
Yeah.
And so much like
you haven't finished yet, so
yeah, exactly. So
you're not there yet.
I already feel like it's already definitely one of the best games I've ever played. I am enamored with all the shit you can do. I'm constantly hitting save. I'm pretty sure like my PlayStation hard drive is half full just due to me saving stupid fucking shit I've done in the game because I'm like, oh my god, you can do this. Save.
I've gone through my lists. I think I'm up to this third row.
Yeah.
Like that's how many saves I've used. Like you can only there's like one screen, and I had to start from the bottom again and work my way up, which has been difficult.
And like yeah, I don't know. It's just it's an amazing game.
Yeah,
I think it's very hard to believe the hype anymore.
sure.
But this one, the hype is real. It is such a staggering achievement. Like I cannot believe how much has gone into this game. Yeah, actually, one of the things I wanted to talk about was I saw a couple of reviews that were talking about the 100 hours that people were putting in to make this game.
Sure.
I don't think any review should mention that.
Yeah.
I don't think any review should talk about that at all because it's the reverse of those. You know, sometimes we get a review copy of a game and it'll come with a letter.
Sure.
I'll say such and such amount of people, 215 people worked for this many man hours, away from their families. This is their blood, sweat, and tears. We really hope you enjoy it. And it's designed to tug at your heartstrings. It's designed to create a
Connection.
sentimental, emotional
From David Cage or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that was the last one we got, right? Like
I
from
think it was,
David Cage, yeah.
I find that shit to be unbelievably manipulative and it's garbage.
Well, I don't use it. I don't take any of that into account.
I don't punish a game for doing it, but I specifically do not take it into account. I specifically like what is it like in the courtroom when something's like there's an objection and they're like instructing the jury to ignore that last evidence. Ignore that evidence. The same goes for finding out that they're working 100-hour weeks. Like apart from the fact that there was an outpouring of Rockstar employees confirming and denying, I think nobody said that they did a 100-hour week, but there were people saying, we're doing 80+ hour weeks for a while there. I think especially in QA, there were people doing a lot of hours. Like I don't 100%. I don't think people should be overworked. But I don't think it should be taken into account when you're reviewing a game, because for the exact same reasons that you shouldn't take into account the idea that 100, like 200 people worked on this for however many hours, and suddenly you should find some sentiment in that.
Yeah, or like how much money was put in the budget to.
Yeah.
I don't care how much fucking money this thing cost.
Yeah,
like I care about the final product.
As a human and as a person who works for a living and doesn't want to be exploited and doesn't want other people to be exploited, 100%. I do think the 100-hour thing has an impact, but as a critic, I think it is irresponsible to take it into account. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool that like the things we talked about I think the majority of people will that play the game will end up doing the main missions and then like all the stranger stuff and those bits and pieces in between. But then like the stuff where we talked about the vampire thing, I think that's okay territory to talk about, like the weird, because there is just so much of that riddled through it that there's going to be 2% of players, 1% of like 99% of players aren't going to see that, and they're not going to know it existed. They're like, what, this game was out for a week, and you and I are like the fucking first people to see that in the world that have played it, and the only reason we did that is because we fucking stumbled across something.
Exactly.
Like and there's so many other things out there like that. I've come across so much weird shit in that game where I've looked at it and be like, I have no idea. I don't know what that means. I've gotten fucking messages like DMs off of people because apparently I'm like the fucking Red Dead Sherlock Holmes now, being like, hey, do you know what this symbol on this tree means? And I'm like, don't, I don't know, man. Or like someone last night sent me a message, like a piece of paper with writing on it, being like, do you have any idea what this thing means?
Send it to me.
So now I'm like,
Fuck,
this
I
guy
love
solves riddles. He could fix everything.
Fuck yeah, we should be a riddle solving team. We should do it. Let's go.
Yeah, I think that stuff is really cool. That there's so much deep stuff in there. I talked about it last week, like the stories about ghosts, hearing ghost stories around the camp, and being like, I'm fucking convinced there are ghosts in this game, because otherwise, because I've heard about the stories about you walk around the town, the vampire thing, you would hear that in there, or the I think
I heard about
werewolves.
a wolf man.
Yeah, stuff like that, like werewolves.
Not a werewolf. I only heard about a wolf man, but
Wolfman.
I'm pretty sure that's your naked guy, isn't it?
Oh, is that
that's
the
what I
naked
figured.
guy? Right.
I figured it'd be naked guy. Maybe there is a wolf man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And like the fucking story about the you help a stranger, and she's talking about how in town there's like a lady in the window.
I'm listening.
And yeah, and so basically it's like there is probably stuff that is happening in this town that's a bit creepy. And so I end up spending like an hour looking for this fucking creepy girl on a window. Which, you know, ultimately that stuff is really cool, and that's why I ended up spending an hour or no, I spent like 4 or 5 hours looking for this fucking vampire yesterday. But the fact that like the majority of people are never going to see any of this stuff, I think it's really cool. And there's like this whole community built around finding all this weird shit that's in the game now. I think that's really fun. They're like, I was just exploring yesterday, just going around to areas that have previously not been to.
I'm back.
And just kind of finding out, like, all right, what is up here? What have we got? Finding a weird fucking house with like grass on its roof and weird symbols on there. And I think it was called like Mysterious House or something like that. It's like, all right, well, is this where we're going now? And just seeing like weird symbols around the place, and eventually I'm sure that's gonna lead to something. But we're a week in, and who fucking knows where all that stuff goes. So I'm sure there's tons of stuff to find out.
Yeah, absolutely. The Emerald Ranch thing, the lady in the window.
Yeah,
that's been driving me nuts. There's so much storytelling around that ranch area, and they haven't really gone into it yet. And I'm wondering if they're going to, or if I have to go back, or I think that's the. It's not the worst. It's just a thing in the game that shakes me a bit. Is I am often confused as to whether or not I should be pursuing a certain storyline or not. Like, I don't know if that's just ambient storytelling, or like the Gunslingers one, I feel is a good example, right? Because I killed I didn't kill them all, but
no,
you know, I dealt with the Gunslingers, the strange mission for the Gunslingers, and now I can't seem to do the next stage in that mission. And I know there is a next stage, and I can't work out how to get that to trigger.
Yeah, I looked it up because you were asking me, and it's just like a timed thing where eventually, when you get to a certain point in the game, it'll be like, yeah, you can do that.
Right.
I feel like I haven't seen a lot of that in that game. Like,
but
I mean, there are moments where
that exists, I guess, is throwing me a little. No, I wonder if there are other things that I'm.
Yeah, I think
too early for,
because you probably went and did them all, right? Whereas the way I did it was when I was near an area, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to do that now, and then sort of venture out.
Okay.
But yeah, like, I get it. People play it that way and just go and explore. But yeah, my only criticism now that I've, like, from the last week that I've now finished the review and all that sort of stuff, is that have you been down towards Blackwater yet?
Only for that one mission.
So there is quite a lot of area in that place. Yeah. And at the moment, there's just not a lot to do there. And I'm not sure why that is.
Okay.
And it's got me really confused.
Okay.
And I don't know if this is a a Red Dead Online thing, or if they've got like some DLC planned where there will be stuff happening down there. But
Yeah.
there is a lot of area on that map where just nothing happens, and I just don't
Yeah.
get it yet. It's strange.
Well, I'll have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Um, but yeah, I mean the rest of the game feels like you spend most of it, at least I do, on that
Yeah.
sort of main sort of
Yeah.
eastern end. You've got
That
Strawberry.
part below Blackwater, that's all Red Dead Redemption 1, right?
Sure.
I spend most of my time in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind
Yeah.
of yeah. That's why I said last week don't look at the map because I felt that was a bit spoilery.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh. I think everyone knows that by now. I am sort of wondering what animals there will be to kill down there. You know?
Yeah, I've been down there. There's new stuff. That seems like the only sort of stuff to do
Right.
down in that area. Um,
I'm pretty sure there are a couple of legendaries down there that I
Right.
have to go get.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I just
otherwise,
don't get
yeah.
that. I just don't understand that area. Why it's there? There's got to be something that they haven't announced yet, or I'm fucking missing something. I don't know. It's really weird to me.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, it's
Yeah.
amazing. We're definitely doing a spoiler cast. Yeah, I will continue to attempt to finish it. Yeah, that's about it.
Where are you at? Chapter 4. You just started chapter 4.
About halfway. Well, I don't know halfway, but I'm a fair chunk into chapter 4.
What's your percentage completion rate?
No idea.
You don't know.
No, I don't look.
I think I finished at like 86
Right.
around
Yeah,
there.
okay.
Total completion.
Fair enough. I've been like churning through my challenges and stuff, just trying to get those done. I don't really know why. I don't need anything that they unlock, but
Mm.
it's just a cool little aside, a cool little distraction. Like, see if I can shoot. What is it? Like 5 birds off the back of a moving train. I thought that was going to be super easy. You just had to get one that went through the mountains because there's shit tons of birds up there. The real trick with that mission is all the people who get very upset
Oh, right.
with you shooting a gun on a train.
So basically what you need to do is get rid of everybody on the train and then start the train off and just drive it around.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. I managed to finish it by standing on the roof of the train, and I dead-eyed five birds.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they just got mad every other time. But yeah, sick game. 100% recommend it. Yeah.
It's made a fuckload of money.
Yeah, it has. The biggest entertainment thing of all time or some shit.
Yeah,
Right?
Oh, that was in the news. Fair enough.
My bad.
I was
Well,
gonna
why don't we
say-
go straight to it?
Yeah, I was gonna say something else, but then I think I forgot. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sure we'll get to it at some stage. I can't remember what I was gonna say. It was about Red Dead, but
All right.
nah, it's gone. Oh, all right. So just news.
Excellent. Let's do it.
Yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2 had the second biggest entertainment launch in history. It's only second to Grand Theft Auto 5.
Ah,
I
get
got it.
owned. Get owned, Rockstar.
Yeah, take that.
Yeah.
I got an email.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
I got an email about all the things that it like beat.
Oh, yeah?
that it did. And
Let's hear it.
and I can't find the email, so that's good.
Yeah, I thought I would have had the email as well.
I can't see it here.
Ah, here it is. Biggest opening weekend in retail sell-through across all entertainment releases. Second biggest launch 3 days in retail sell-through across all entertainment releases. Biggest entertainment launch of 2018. Most pre-ordered full game ever on PlayStation Network. Biggest day one full game sales ever on PlayStation Network. Biggest first 3-day full game sales ever on PlayStation Network.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, it reviewed fucking really well.
Yes, it did.
When I was at PAX over the weekend, it was sitting at 98 on Metacritic. I think it's since then dropped to 97. So it must be very good.
Garbage.
Sounds trash.
Trash game. Trash game.
As far as I'm aware, it was the highest rated game ever.
Right.
It seemed like it was pretty fucking high. It's got 81 positive reviews on PlayStation 4, one average, which is a 7. Anyway, that guy's probably dead now.
uh, which I think I read that review too. Yeah, it was an odd one.
Bit garbage.
I felt it. Well, I don't know. Just having like reading through it, it felt like it's he hadn't played that much of it. Like he'd gotten bored, and because he complains a lot about clunkiness, the clunky movement and stuff like that, and that's a complaint that I've only noticed from people who like have only just
Yeah.
played a bit. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's got like this weighted movement behind it, right? It's not like where you can spin yourself around 16 times and move really quickly. It's got Arthur's got weight behind the way he moves.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, I don't know. It's just it's a bit
Bit garbage.
it's a bit harsh. Like
Yeah.
because I believe the same reviewer. I remember looking at it on OpenCritic. The same reviewer was far kinder to other games. So it just came across as hitting it.
Clickbaity.
No, not clickbaity. I think he just, sometimes you feel like, oh, it's such a monumental game that you have to take it a bit more seriously, but it doesn't. I think it winds up not, uh, not naturally reflecting in the landscape of other reviews that you write. You know, I don't think that he was attempting to yoink up a bunch of extra hits or anything. Because that's the good thing about OpenCritic is that you can look at all of a person's other reviews.
Yeah.
And so he gave Red Faction Guerrilla, the remastered edition, an 8 out of 10. And so if you look at his reviews, because Red Faction Guerrilla is an open world style game, if you look at his reviews compared to other reviews in the same genre, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Okay.
But then if you look at his reviews, like compared to like everyone else's reviews, then yeah, he's giving it the weight that I think a game of this magnitude deserves. It's an anomaly in his general reviews of games. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Because he gave Spider-Man a 7 as well. So it's there's a bit of a.
Does like games. Sounds like.
I think he just expects a lot from certain games, and he didn't expect much from a remastered version of Red Faction Guerrilla. So yeah, when he expects a lot, he is harsher on it. I just think it winds up being an imbalanced sort of review type thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, yeah, made a lot of money. I'm sure there'll be more stuff out. November this month. Red Dead Online. So soon.
Yes. Hopefully, I'll have finished the game by then.
Should have.
Fingers crossed.
They could really
next?
just dick over somebody and release it when Battlefield comes out or something like that, right?
They could, yeah.
Just kill one of those games. Like, what else
It
is there
would.
this year? Battlefield.
It wouldn't kill Battlefield, but yeah.
Might.
No.
Epic Games to open a studio in Australia. This is
Right.
a strange
Yeah.
announcement.
It is.
All of our AAA studios are left, and now they're returning.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, Epic have got a bunch of money, right? So why not?
Yeah, Fortnite money. No
Yep.
idea what this entails yet. Don't know what they'll be doing here. Whether or not they're just going to be focusing on maybe publishing, marketing. Well, I guess we see what happens, right? It's being run by Tony Reid, who is former CEO of the Game Developers Association of Australia.
Yep.
And that was announced at the Melbourne Games Week last week. So yeah, I'm sure we'll find out more information about that, but don't know where they'll open. Maybe Melbourne. Why would you do that though? Go to Sydney.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Probably Melbourne.
Yeah. Our favorite CFO, EA's CFO, says during a conference call, I think this was him, across multiple studios we have new projects underway, including games from Respawn that are slated to launch by next holiday season. So that includes Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. That's a fucking terrible name, by the way. It's so weird to write.
It is, yes.
And they're putting it up against their other game, Titanfall 3. This happens every fucking year. Respawn tries to make a game.
Yeah.
Titanfall is usually pretty good. And they send it off to die.
It's pretty weird.
And this year...
They could, like, I reckon Titanfall esports would be entertaining as fuck, too. But it never gets the critical mass it needs to, like, actually get a scene behind it.
Yeah. Because EA just shits on it every year.
They just send it out to die. It's dog ass shit. It's rough. Yep.
Yeah, it's fucked. Anyway, I'm pretty sure this CFO said something else last week.
I don't know.
Because I was talking to the GameSpot crew who reported on it.
Right.
Yeah, anyway, that guy's an idiot. That was the single-player games. No one wants to play them anymore. That was that guy.
Oh, yeah, right. Classic.
Yeah. And the last story we've got here is Battlefield 5, the Battle Royale mode. I think it's called Firestorm. It's coming out in 2019 Q1. So it won't be available this year.
Which is crazy to me. Like, that's insane, isn't it?
I think it is a bit, like, I understand maybe why they're doing it. They want to wait for the game to sort of slow down a bit and then build it back up during Q1.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. It's just, it's such a crazy fucking thing.
Also, it's probably just not even anywhere near ready. It sounds like it's probably just a last minute thing they've slapped together.
Yeah.
Could be.
Oh, I don't know.
That's the news. That's all we put down. Did you see the Henry Cavill stuff yesterday? What was that today?
In The Witcher? Yeah, that was yesterday.
Everybody lost their minds over that.
Didn't look great, but like, yeah, it's just a makeup test. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, it's a makeup test. I also, the other thing that was kind of weird is that I don't know if like the people that are complaining have played the other Witcher games, but he didn't have a beard in any of those. And
oh, well, they're complaining about the beard.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, he doesn't have a beard."
Oh.
Like, where's his beard? It's like,
oof.
All right, well, they're obviously going for one. It's not based off of the fucking game; it's based off of the books. But also, like, the last game was set at the end of an arc, and obviously you got to have a beard at the end of the arc. So just fucking wait. He'll grow a beard. Just chill.
Word.
Yep. Preach.
All right, we got a question. Let's do this question and let's wrap up because I am hungry. Frisco writes in. Frisco. Are esports players doing enough to monetize their personal brand? Conversely, are esports, he's writing esports with a capital S every single time here, and it's destroying me. Conversely, are esports-centric dev companies doing enough to allow the monetization of player brands in their games? For example, in Dota 2, on top of being able to trade and resell item sets on the Steam Marketplace, they can also be personalized with custom names and stat displays, which made me wonder why aren't pro Dota 2 players selling personalized items they use in tournaments. I could certainly see people being interested in buying the Ember Spirit set that Anna used to win TI8. That's an awesome question. Are esports players doing enough to monetize their personal brand? No, categorically they are not. And are esports-centric dev companies doing enough to allow that monetization? In general, no, they aren't either. Yeah, I love the idea of players selling shit they used in tournaments. I reckon that's a fucking sick idea. I I reckon it'd like provided it carried. I mean, it was in a game that had a long enough life. Like, I
Sure.
reckon that'd fucking go amazingly. And yeah, like, you know, Valve could take a cut or Epic could take a cut if it was some Fortnite skin or some shit. And then yeah, like they could make that, like the players could make money, and like they could even auction it off and stuff. That'd be fucking awesome. That's a
Isn't
genius
Fortnite
idea.
doing that now? Like some sort of
Is it?
partnership program where you could put in a code and like for your favorite content
Yeah,
creator and they get a cut of it.
but that's like that's not this. This he's talking about like the jersey that LeBron wore when he
Oh, I
beat
thought you were talking about like
the
in-game
Warriors and
items.
stuff. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He is talking about that, but like that's what like I think that's what he's talking about. Like the Ember Spirit set that Anna used to win 2AA. Like yeah, why not?
And have a
I reckon
signed
that's
version.
awesome.
Like I know they were doing that at one stage where you could buy a set item and it'd be like, this is signed by this player.
Yeah, I
And all
know.
you'd ever get is some trash item, but
Yeah,
that was back when they had crates and you'd open them, or
right.
chests.
No, it's legal. He continues. Beyond in-game transactions, I don't think there are nearly enough players outside of the top echelon of streamers making the most of their esports fame, using their social media to promote things such as clothing brands and shaving cream, and not just the latest Corsair RAM with RGB lighting. The problem with that, hang on, maybe I'll finish reading. Perhaps team organizations could do more to encourage their players to be more active on their social media and or to pursue more individual sponsorships. I think a lot of current esports games could implement more avenues for teams and players to generate more revenue for themselves, like character and weapon skins a la Valve's esports titles. Would like to hear your opinions on this and any speculations as to what you yourselves would shill if you were a professional gamer. Frisco, budding esports snake oil salesman. All right, so I think the problem with players doing it themselves is that they have contracts with teams, and the teams dictate what they can and can't sell until we get to a point where they are big enough to do, I guess, the ninja thing where he signs with one brand like Red Bull. We're only gonna see mostly we're mostly gonna see influencers as like being streamers, and the esports players who manage to also become influencers will have a large stream presence, like Trump from Hearthstone, or those guys group and stuff like that. You know, I think we will be a fair way off seeing that sort of stuff from more players and teams, because it is harder for them to sort of get that stuff going. I do agree that they should be shilling more than just computer stuff. I don't know if you saw this, Luke, but yesterday, Tainted Minds, the team, the esports organization, signed a deal with Ribs and Burgers.
Right.
So they're now
Is it a
sponsored by
green
Ribs and
burger?
Burgers. I don't think so. I don't think they've got like a burger deal. I think they've just signed a I don't know, some sort of deal. But yeah, we're seeing a lot more Maccas. We're seeing obviously Red Bull and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that stuff's coming, but that's going to come from outside in more. We're not seeing shaving cream because Gillette hasn't yet gotten on board with esports. But you know, obviously, what was that fucking robot that they had at the Game Awards? Do you remember the robot, the fucking robot mascot?
Yeah, it was like Chic, wasn't it?
Shikobot or something? I don't know, something nuts.
It wasn't
Anyway,
even that good. Can't remember.
yeah. Anyway, but yeah, she could have gotten in on games before. I'm sure they will again. Yeah, like it's going to happen. Actually, wasn't there like Black Ops 4 shoes? I'm pretty sure there were.
PlayStation shoes.
We need to get the next level, the next stage past that is video game like team shoes, Cloud9 shoes. Those would probably go well. Yeah,
Shoes.
Gap
I
shoes.
can't do
Yeah,
clothing.
we're not allowed. So what would you shill if you were a professional gamer, Luke?
Alcohol. There you go.
alcohol. I want to be like Bill
Food.
Murray. Bill
KFC.
Murray
I'll do fucking KFC.
Suntory whiskey. You know how he does those Suntory whiskey ads, Bill Murray?
Yeah,
I'd do
right.
a Suntory whiskey ad. I imagine he'd get a lot of Yamazaki whiskey out of that. But yeah, KFC. That's
I'd
what
do
I
KFC for sure.
we would shield KFC so fucking hard
I'd
on the
change the
show
name of the show.
if they just
KFC
came to
podcast.
us. Oh my god. Yeah. We would be called the KFC hour with your boys, KF Job and Luke C.
Colonel Joab.
Colonel Job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm off for it. Let's do it. Where do I
Bring
sign?
it on. Yeah.
I
Anyway.
have to sit here and do a chicken challenge every week.
Drats. I'm well in. All right, good question, Frisco. Yeah, actually, really good points made as well. I love the idea of selling in-game items that were used by players. I reckon that'd be fucking sick, and it'd be, like there'd be a tangible element to it that would, I guess, increase in like value over time, which we haven't really seen with digital items thus far. So I reckon it's a really cool idea.
Maybe.
Maybe. All right, cool. Whatever. Luke's not on board.
Yep. That's it. I think
That's
that's
it?
it. No other questions?
That is it.
Emails? No.
No.
No. All right,
No.
let's wrap it up. The Gap. You can find us on iTunes, Android, Windows Store. You can search for it on the Gap or the GA Podcast. If you want to review the show, you can do that. It helps other people find it. We appreciate that. And everybody can email us questions if they want to at our email address, thegapodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/GApodcast, twitter.com/GApodcast. We also have a website, thegapodcast.com. It's got all the links we just talked about, including past episodes of the show. You can also find us on YouTube, youtube.com/GApodcast. I think that's the site, right? I'm pretty sure.
That's it.
You can like the videos or watch us talk about it on the screen, like right there. So don't do that. Break? Did it break?
I don't know.
Fair enough.
We look okay.
Last week we had footage of Red Dead Redemption playing while we were talking. Don't do that. That is scary. You're scaring everybody.
Fine.
Did you watch any
I'll
of that
sit
footage? It was me running around doing random shit for a while.
Yeah, I watched all of that footage.
You watched all of
It
it.
was
You're
you talking the
insane.
whole time as well.
What?
It was you were talking the whole time, almost the entire
Oh,
time.
okay. During that footage.
Yeah, 'cause it was you were
I'm
there
sorry.
to play the game. It's garbage, honestly. I mean, the podcast is at its best when I'm talking, obviously, and it was not a lot of me talking.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's pretty bad. So yep, we're on video. You can go check that out. You can find us on, did I say Discord? thegapodcast.com/Discord. You can play games with people on there. Playing Black Ops last night, and I'm sure we'll be playing more of that. And Battlefield
Once Red
coming
Dead's
up.
finished. Yep.
Some Fallout. You can watch us download Fallout. We did that the other night. It was good. Otherwise, you can find us on. That's it. Actually, the website. The website's up and running thanks to our Patreon people. If you want to help support the show, go to patreon.com/GApodcast. Thank you everyone that does it every month. Appreciate it.
You're the best.
And that's it. That's the show. I think that's it. You got anything you want to spruik out?
Go read my interview with Spawn, the
comic.
GM of Melbourne Order.
Right.
Yeah, go check that out. That's it. It's huge. It's a massive fucking interview, and it took me fucking forever. And it was supposed to go up before we recorded this podcast, and our stupid fucking CMS crashed on me. So,
Cool.
What about you? What do you got?
You can go to Stevivor.com. I have a bunch of Red Dead stuff that went up over the last week. Reviews, some guides about things are in there. So the thing was, in the actual game, it tells you this is how much you've completed, and it was like there are 5 shacks, and I was like, oh, there's only 5 fucking shacks in this game then, because it was like 1 of 5, and then you find another one, it's like 2 of 5. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm noting down all these fucking shacks that I'm finding. Anyway, it turns out there's not 5. There's it only tracks 5.
Oh,
There's fucking heaps. Pretty much all of those things that you run into, and he jots down a note, or it'll mark it on your map. That is like a shack. So I gave up on that.
oh, wow.
Because there are fucking tons.
If you see a fucking square on your mini map, just go to it. Too easy.
Yeah,
Easy peasy.
every time there's like something, but there are like hidden caves that aren't on the map. I've yet to find a fucking cave anywhere, but I know there are some because there are like carvings and sorry,
Oh,
the
I
one
found a sick. Found a sick one. It was a tunnel. I think you do a bounty at it. Maybe you go hunt a bounty at, and the guy is like he surprises you when you're in the cave.
that
Have you
sounds
done that
fucking
bounty?
terrible. No,
Well, he surprises you, and you have to take him back. I think you're supposed to capture him alive, which made things extra difficult. You had to shoot the gun out of his hand. Um,
oh, maybe I did.
but there was a fucking dynamite plunger, and I blew open the cave, and that's where I found a fucking hat with a torch on it. I had a hat with a torch on it.
No idea.
Sick.
Haven't
Yep.
seen it.
Well, shit. See how good is
We'll
the
do
game?
a spoiler cast one maybe next week once everyone's finished. Once we've finished.
Yes.
And it's still fresh in our minds.
Yeah.
We'll go from there.
We'll get Nate on. We're gonna drink whiskey. He's all about it.
Right.
All right.
Okay, that's it. Thanks everyone
Bye.
for watching.